circle from all that's stressed. We trust the guardians, trust the guides, trust the open and what's inside. When the moon is high, it's time to fly. Open your mind, let it all unwind. Let's get disengaged, time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged. When you feel like you've had enough and the week was busy and tough, you need a break, you need some fun. You need to take time from the run. We'll blow your mind. We're just in time. Seek and ye shall find. Time to unwind. Let's get disenraged. Time to engage. Turn another page. Free from your cage. Get disenraged. Aliens, ghosts, spirits and shadows, spirituality, ultra reality, the Bible, the pagans, all the conspiracies, tarot, astrology, and alternate history. Open your heart to other possibilities and get disenraged. Time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged, 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 disenraged.
Jennifer, what the fuck? Are you casting a spell? What's going on?
I'm adjusting my light. I realized I was like, "Wah!" Like I'm glowing, so I'm turning it down.
It's okay to glow. It's all right to glow. So, Jennifer, have you been following along with what is going on in Nepal?
Nepal?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so here's what happened. Essentially, the communist government of Nepal decided to turn off social media. And this so pissed off the Gen Z population of Nepal that
I can't imagine.
that they went and burned down parliament, and then they started hunting the communist leaders house to house. And now they are doing things like stripping the finance minister of his clothes and making him walk down the river as they beat him with a stick.
Oh, can we borrow some Nepalese Gen Zers?
Oh, man. I saw this and I just kept looking at this and I was like, this is oddly satisfying. They're throwing the communist leaders into the river, stripping them of their clothes, and whacking them with a stick.
That is next level.
It's actually... No, it's actually crazy, though. It's actually crazy. Actually, let me see if I can find it. Nepal. I'm sure there are many videos right now. They are actually burning down parliament. This is like real. This is happening. They're burning down parliament. They're doing house to house. Like, they're looking for the leaders of all the communists and stuff like that. And they are punishing them in the way.
Because of social media.
Because they shut off the social media. And they aren't happy about it, and they're mad as hell, and they're not taking it anymore. It's just like, it is so fucking satisfying, and I'm just like, oh my god. Not only is this a counter revolution against communists, it's like they are treating government officials with the righteous indignation that they all deserve, and I really feel like we should be taking a lesson from this, and I feel like this is how we should probably be treating our communists in our country, or alternatively, our government officials that don't want to deal with the communists in the country. And on that note, do you want to know what happened to me this week?
I'd really love to see them do this to our governor in Colorado, if I'm being completely honest. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, you know who I'd like to see them do this to? The Assistant Attorney General of the United States, Harmeet Dillon.
I'm okay. I'm not in the know on that.
And do you know why I would like to see them do this to Harmeet Dillon? So, as you know, I went to a socialism conference all weekend. And I'm just going to play you a short clip of this. I'm just going to play you a short clip, and you can identify for me if you think anything has gone wrong in this speech, okay?
Okay. I'll see if I can.
Okay.
My name is Tom Alter. I'm a member of Socialist Horizon.
Recording in progress.
I'll just say it again. My name is Tom Alter. I'm a member of Socialist Horizon in San Marcos, Texas, and also a member of the Texas State Employees Union, affiliated with the CWA. As anarchists, these insurrectionists explicitly reject the formation of a revolutionary party capable of leading the working class to power. Without organization, how can anyone expect to overthrow the most bloodthirsty, profit-driven mad organization in the history of the world, that of the U.S. government?
Profit-driven.
This is a faculty member at Texas State University openly calling for the formation of a revolutionary communist party to overthrow the government. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This isn't even the only video clip like this I got this weekend, by the way. I have at least 4 other ones almost exactly like this. Except this is the only Texas State University faculty member.
Wow.
Jennifer, do you think that this is a problem?
Well, and like you said, this isn't the first time, won't be the last time, and it's not the only time we've seen this, we've heard this kind of stuff. And this is not just from those universities across the country. We've heard them kind of building up. Now they're getting bolder, but he also thought he was, private. But oh my God. Well, that's why we definitely need to get some Napolis and Gen Zs.
I think we do, and the thing is, I thought Harmeet Dillon is the Assistant Attorney General of the United States, and she's really up on all this DEI stuff, and she's the one that's saying she's going to rid universities of DEI and trying to be a hero for that.
Okay.
So I innocently sent this clip into her DMs, and I said, Harmeet, do you want to maybe do something about this? And do you know what her response was?
Oh dear, what? No,
you are acting unhinged, and it's not persuasive that you're using capital letters when you say overthrow the government.
You didn't say
No. So when I sent Harmeet the DMs, Harmeet and I had a little back and forth in which I said, I really hope you guys are going to do something about this. And she said, nah, not my job. Why don't you call someone else? And I said, are you shitting me? You're the Assistant Attorney General of the United States. You have the DOJ on speed dial. You can get them. I did my job, Harmeet. You can now go to the fucking FBI. This is your fucking job. And her response was, well, Karlyn, you're behaving in an unhinged manner. And if you want to shout about this on the internet and act in an unhinged way, that's your responsibility, but I don't find all capital letters to be persuasive.
Not the caps.
I know. And so I made Harmeet a little graph, because the Assistant Attorney General of the United States doesn't seem to understand that DEI comes from communists.
Did you make that?
Yes. Yes, I made this 3 hours ago. Because, listen, I really don't feel like I asked for too much, Jennifer. I don't feel like I asked for too much. I feel like if I get a communist faculty member at Texas State University on video talking about forming a revolutionary party to overthrow the U.S. government, and I send that to the Assistant Attorney General, I kind of feel like she should just take it a little bit more seriously than telling me I'm not persuaded by all caps.
Do you think that maybe that was an assistant who screens her emails first?
No. This is in her Twitter DMs. I know this was her. I know. No, this was in Twitter DMs. It was her.
Okay.
It was her. So that's what my last couple of days has been like, and so when I
Wow.
saw Nepal kind of like just being as based as possible,
Right.
and burning down parliament and hunting communists like house to house, and then making communists walk through the river naked while they beat them with a stick, I was like, you know what? We need a little bit more of this spirit in this country. I just like why are the Nepalese like so much more based than us?
Well, now question, this can't have been the first time they've had their rights restricted. I mean, obviously it's a communist government, but maybe social media was just the last straw, or was it directly only about the fact that they shut off all social media?
My understanding is that it like I don't know what's I don't keep up on affairs in Nepal, okay? So I don't know what has led up to this, but the social media thing was definitely the last straw and people were pretty pissed about it.
Wow.
Yeah. Nick says, channeling my inner bot against Harmeet, resign. I mean, I don't know if we need Harmeet to resign. I just think we need Harmeet to do her fucking job and call the FBI. And I'm not doing it for her. I'm not the government employee here.
That was honestly a very asinine and immature on her part response.
I could not believe it. I was like, Harmeet, you're putting this in writing? You know I can take screenshots, right? And I did. And I released the screenshots because honestly, you're going to you are actually going to tone police me.
Yeah.
When I am sending you a video of a taxpayer-funded faculty member talking about overthrowing the government, and you're going to say, you can't do that in all capital letters. Like, fuck yourself. Like... I will do it in all not only will I do it in all capital letters, Harmeet, I will then make a meme also using all capital letters to demonstrate that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like,
ask her how she looks in shitty river water.
Yeah. Oh, that should be someone should totally make that meme. Put Harmeet Dillon's face on that person walking through the river and just like, can someone like work that magic, please, while we're on the show tonight? I think that'd be great.
Oh my God.
I think someone should do that on the show. Anyway, that's what's been going on. So,
wow. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. It is a lot. It is. But we are not here to talk about Harmeet. We are here to watch the second half of the conspiracy theory documentary.
Yes. Husband and I had a 9-year anniversary last Tuesday.
Happy anniversary. Did you guys have a good dinner?
We did. We went
to a good dinner.
Yeah, we went to the Fort, which is a game restaurant up near Red Rocks, and we had elk and quail and rattlesnake and wild boar and buffalo and what else did we have?
That's the other one that you told me about when I was there.
Yeah. It was like between that one and I forgot the name of the one in Boulder, but yeah. So we went there. We figured, for our last hurrah, let's go do that, and it was really fun. And there was nobody there, so we had like really great service, and it was quiet. It was really nice. So it was a beautiful night.
Awesome. And Nuritu says, my mom is flying here this weekend to celebrate her 60th birthday. Happy birthday to Mom.
Happy birthday, Mom's Naruto's mom.
Cool. All right. Well, we started watching this a couple weeks ago, and then we had to skip last week, obviously, because of Jennifer's anniversary. But we still have almost 2 hours to go in the Conspiracy of Everything documentary, and I've really been enjoying it so far. And I'm ready to jump right in and watch the second half. Are you ready, Jennifer?
I'm stoked. Let's go.
Cool. Let's do it.
Haitians still clutch the majority of people. A select few can guard the light and guide others into an enlightened cyberpunk reality.
The secret government. Dun dun dun.
So far, we have looked at the demiurge, how the world's population is controlled, ETs, and even the almost frightening integration with technology.
Oh,
but the question...
by the way, did you hear there was an alien hearing in Congress today?
No. Well, I've been out of touch. I told you, I've been working outside all week and doing it again, so I haven't had any news or anything.
Yeah, it honestly wasn't as eventful as I hoped it would be. I watched like a little over half of it on the stream today just because, but yeah, they had another hearing about aliens, and the big breaking news from this hearing is some reporter out in Nevada who's been following this stuff for a really long time said aliens almost started World War III in the 80s when the Russians were effing around with the aliens, and the aliens accidentally turned on the intercontinental ballistic missiles that were targeted at the United States, and Russia couldn't figure out how to turn them off, so the aliens literally almost started World War III by turning Russia's missiles against us.
That sounds very okay.
I'm just saying. It's like congressional testimony today.
Wow. Have you been following the 3-Eye Atlas?
No, not
I think
at all.
it's 3-Eye Atlas. Correct me in chat if I have that name wrong. But it's another comet that's coming towards Earth that'll be here in like October or November. And it is showing signs of a possible, I saw this thing the other day, signs of a possible ion drive. Because the tail, normally if everybody knows how comets work. Yeah, 3-Eye Atlas. Thank you, Melinda. So you have the sun, and when the comet is coming around, the tail will all be on the opposite side of wherever the sun is, right? Mm-hmm. Well, this one's tail is pointing towards the sun.
So yeah, Victor was actually telling me about this. So it's like an artificial thing.
They think it might be artificial. They're not sure if it's, and they think they heard some pulse resonance from inside, so they think there are signs of life.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So the aliens are coming, and hopefully they just destroy Earth, and it's like it's all over because like,
don't destroy Earth.
We fucked it up too badly, and it's all over.
Hit the major capital cities. The rest of us are cool. It's the people that live in the major capital cities that are borked.
Yeah, that might be a fair point, but I guess we'll see.
The question is, why is this happening? Why is any of this happening at all?
So true.
Is this just the product of a disconnected consciousness run wild?
Why are we here?
Is there a meaning behind the madness?
What are we even doing anymore?
Is there a definitive end to our suffering? And if we are being led somewhere, by whom? Who, if anyone, is at the top of the pyramid? Is it aliens? Reptiles? The elite? Perhaps there is no single leader, but rather a mass multitude of agendas all going in different directions. Or is this just all a part of God's master plan? Today, the QAnon movement calls it the deep state. And to us, the first time we became aware of it was mentioned in a book from the early 1990s, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life. In this book, they were referred to as the secret government. According to Melchizedek, the secret government has known about the extent of damage we've been doing to ourselves and the world since as early as the 1940s, but have been desperately trying to keep it hidden from the public and sway us from our higher calling. The concept of a secret government or a deep state is useful in explaining how government agencies can gain power by keeping secrets. Most of us today are used to, and perhaps even indoctrinated, into feeling secure in our democratic model of government. It's created a sense of all citizens being involved with and aware of what's going on. And if the citizens believe this, whether it's true or not, it builds trust, but this is not the natural state of power or control. Throughout almost all of history, rulers and those in power had no obligation to be open to their populi. Backdoor deals and secrecy were default settings, and having less people to answer to and explain to naturally gave them more power. Power seekers thrive in secrecy and misdirection. When Greece introduced democracy and the United States modernized it, it was considered ingenious and revolutionary and for the people. To protect it, the entire ethos of American culture was built around a more open and citizen-run government, and eventually it became the new standard for most of the modern world, and a source of pride for nations that achieved it. But what if this sense of pride and security were an illusion? A front for the real operation, a modern-day human edition of the holographic demiurge? What if, behind the scenes, there exists a power that is influencing not just the direct actions of the US government and both sides of their political spectrum, but also other countries? What if there was a power that held influence over the US, the UK, Canada, and even China and Russia? Power is checked in public, but grows in secret, so it is natural to wonder, if power grows in secret, then how do we know that the most powerful forces directing this play are not also the most invisible? What if some of the greatest conflicts in global events were architected from a secret world government?
Oh, yeah.
Not since the JFK assassination has there been a national tragedy so heavily imprinted in American minds, or one that has given rise to quite as many alternative explanations outside of the mainstream narrative. Despite taking place almost 20 years ago, over 42% of Americans today believe that the government and the 9/11 Commission concealed or refused to investigate critical evidence that contradicts their official explanation of the attacks. All of this questioning created a massive alternative narrative of
Jennifer, I almost forgot.
Oh.
A little birdie told me, and that little birdie being you, that that you maybe watched Europa.
Yes, I've gotten through about 4 hours of it. I have 2 hours left. I haven't been able to watch it this week.
Europa's way longer than 6 hours.
I'm sorry. Bad Jenny, bad math. 12 hours. I think I have 4 left.
4 left. I mean, it's a long ass. It's a long ass. What? How do you feel about Europa so far, Jennifer? How are you thinking about it?
I have been pondering how to respond to this question because I knew it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I find much of it is not surprising. I find a lot of it very plausible. I have a little issue with some of the reporting because there's lots of interviews from people speaking in, pardon me, Russian, where they don't have their names, they don't have their credentials. There's no like receipts for these people. And I get leery about that kind of stuff because sound bites can be used from anything to prove any point, fit it in where you want, where it makes sense, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that happen with a lot of politicians, even movie stars, where they get taken out of context. So I'm not saying that I think that people are telling true stories, but I'm not sure they're talking about the thing that the documentary is talking about. So I'm not sure. It looks like a little bit. There
are criticisms to be made of this documentary, and people do criticize. Even people really into this topic criticize it. Yeah. It's not a perfect documentary by any means, but the overall mise en scène.
I had a couple little extra like red pill moments, but my overall opinion of it is, yeah, I can see that they could do this thing. Of course, you struggle with the what's the word? There's a phrase for like when you're confronted with something that cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Perfect.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and so I'm struggling with that a little, and then I'm trying to be very cautious of how they're making certain people look like heroes when they probably were. I didn't know a lot of the pre-war communications between Germany and other countries. So that more than anything convinced me of how this was set up.
Mm-hmm.
I think how they got into some of the, let's just to talk around the subject a little bit, some of the camps, that felt a little glazed over, but maybe they'll get into it some more.
There's a whole section at the end.
Okay, cool. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm very interested. Also, I found it interesting because I thought this too, that it wasn't just Jewish citizens that were in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who else was there? And I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of like the records that they found about it. And so yeah, but yeah, I think it didn't spook me at all. A couple times I was like, whoa, holy shit, we were actually the communists that they were fighting. That was the first time I went, stop, pause, wait,
yeah. It's like
Roosevelt rather.
It's like it's something that I think people know, but then they don't put 2 and 2 together. That's what it was with me. Like I had not put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
And the minute I was like, oh, we're on the side of the fucking
Roosevelt.
Fuck.
Yeah, him and let's see, the president that was sauce in the Depression. Why cannot think of his name? There wasn't. Oh hell. Anyway, the president we had during the Depression, the chicken in every pot, the new Brave New Deal, whatever the fuck he called it, the New Deal.
Mm-hmm.
That started, I think, getting us into the communistic thing. And then when Roosevelt started trying to trigger wars and stuff, which he did, and so did. And I'll tell you one thing that was very disappointing was Churchill.
Oh
because
yeah,
I
Churchill is
loved him.
not a good man.
No.
No. He's a bad man.
Yeah, that made me very sad because I've always loved and admired him. And it's but the funny thing is when they took him out of his position after World War I because he fucked that up so bad, it kind of made me go, well, maybe like all of a sudden he's back, something ain't right. So yeah, but yeah, it's
well, you still have a little
interesting.
ways to go on this journey, but I'm glad you're watching Europa and you're discovering, the whole thing, and it's good, Jennifer. It's good. It's scary and it kind of sucks, and you're gonna have a lot of cognitive dissonance, and you're gonna realize that everything you've ever been taught about history is wrong. But you know what? You'll suffer with all of us because we already figured this out.
I came from a background of everything that I knew was true about reality and life absolutely was not when I left my church and left Christianity. So to see the man behind the curtain, so to speak, is something that I really like. I enjoy this kind of thing. So it doesn't scare me. It doesn't make me go, oh my God, the whole world is blowing. No, I'm like, okay, I see you. I like that stuff.
And actually, the Christianity stuff is deeply related to this because if you think about it, and this is what Adam Green talks about, he says that that Christianity was basically created by this subset of like Jews, basically like this small group, not all Jews, but like this very specific small group of Jews who created Christianity as a myth in order to control the non-Jewish population with a Jewish religion. And so if you think about the role of, that, again, very small group, not all Jews, within the overall kind of like, myth-making landscape, does it, and if you kind of accept, okay, maybe that could be true, maybe you don't think it is, it's fine. But like, if they could do that, then why can't they make other myths that aren't necessarily hinged into reality in which they use to control the masses? Why can't they do that?
Well, the victors always write history, right? So that's exactly why we don't understand anything about our history, and including prehistory that they're trying to hide, which we went over before.
Real.
And, so this is why should it be any different? They're going to tell you what they want you to know, not what really happened, because they want to make themselves look good, and they don't want to scare people with their agenda because they know most of the people would reject it. But they want to keep in power, so they will do whatever they can, make whatever lies, manipulate whatever people, murder millions of people. I mean, the famine in Russia, that whole thing, what Pol Pot did, like all the stuff. These men are slaughtering innocent people because they just want power.
Yeah.
In the name of I'm your friend. And it's just like, we come in peace, shoot to kill,
And this is why the aliens just need to blow us up and be done with us. Like, honestly, like we
don't want to get blown up, but
deserve it. And it's not everyone's fault, but like,
Yeah, I still continue to maintain that the problem is really bad leadership and how they brainwash your own people, which I've seen in religions, and hearing some very scholarly looking rabbis saying very violent, disgusting things about anybody not Jewish kind of broke my heart a little. That made me a little sad. Yeah.
All right. Well, good talk, Jennifer. We'll revisit this after you finish watching the documentary.
I'll be packing. Once I do that, I can have it on in the background, but I don't want to listen to it and blare it in my backyard while I'm landscaping.
That's probably a good idea. You live in a very Democrat area. They're gonna be like, thank God that Nazi bitch moved out.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Events that covers everything from the days leading up to the attacks, their execution, and the aftermath. The most infamous aspect of the theories is that the collapse of the towers, specifically Tower 7, were the result of controlled and deliberate demolitions, rather than the impact of the planes. This is seen almost to be self-evident, considering Building 7 fell at almost the exact same time as the other two towers.
Building 7,
but miraculously,
yes.
without a plane even coming close to it. Surveys even suggest that most people who see a video of Building 7 very quickly begin to question and doubt the official mainstream narrative. Jumping back in time a few days before the event, it is purported that the US government knew about the coming attack days or even weeks in advance and deliberately failed to prevent it, or even purposefully allowed it to happen. This is purported even by Michael Meacher, a former British environment minister and member of Tony Blair's government in the UK. Evidence to this is found in the stock value alterations for the airlines that were hijacked leading up to the event, when a huge amount of put options were placed for American Airlines and United Airlines, a financial tool that gives owners the option money if the price of the stock falls. Some economic and business journals have gone on record saying that this is evidence of unusual option market activity in the days leading up to September 11th that is consistent with investors trading on advanced knowledge of the attacks. To put it in perspective, between September 6th and 7th, the Chicago Board Exchange recorded nearly 4,744 put option contracts bought in United Airlines. Then on September 10th, another 4,516 stocks were bought in American Airlines.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Naturally, the 9/11 Commission says that the weird behavior was just coincidental. But nevertheless, these put options made someone a lot of money. A separate line of suspicion stems from the actions taken by NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, and the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, on that day. There's much speculation about whether NORAD issued a stand-down order to its fighter jets on 9/11, along with delays in the FAA to notify NORAD of the potential threat. According to FAA records, the notification to NORAD about the hijacking of each plane came just minutes before they would crash. Despite the FAA noticing unusual behavior, like a failure to stay on course and a shutdown transponder on American Airlines Flight 11 just 16 seconds after takeoff, NORAD would not be called to action or notified for over 20 minutes. In a country with the most robust and sophisticated defense in the world, a fumble this bad with such dire consequences can't help but add to the mystery around what really took place. Now we get to the controlled demolition. This theory states that explosives installed in the building in advance were the real cause of the collapse and wide-reaching destruction. First shared by Dutch demolitions expert Danny Jowenko, who in 2006 said that the aircraft impact and resulting fires couldn't have weakened the building sufficiently enough to initiate a collapse, and that they wouldn't even have collapsed completely, nor at the speeds that they did, without additional energy involved to weaken their lower structures. He came to the conclusion that this was a controlled demolition carried out by experts, something that has since been supported by some physicists, engineers, software developers, and modelers, along with a range of other fields. The mainstream analysis, in contrast, asserts that the collapse resulted from damage to support columns caused largely by the weakening of columns and floors by jet fuel fires. And of course, you've probably seen the memes by now about jet fuel and steel beams. Stephen Jones, a physicist at Birmingham Young University, along with other researchers, analyzed samples of dust from the World Trade Center buildings and reported that their findings contained evidence of nanothermite in the dust, which are products used in high-level explosives. When he informed the National Institute of Technology about his findings, they argued that there was no way of knowing the dust he analyzed came from those buildings. When he asked them to conduct their own study, they refused. On top of that, eyewitnesses reported seeing and hearing explosions happening before the collapse of the towers, and the organization International Center for 9/11 Studies has published videos with indications about when such explosions could be heard. The collapse of Building 7 also wasn't even reported in the initial report, and NIST, the agency charged with investigating the event, took 7 years to publish anything that even acknowledged it. Looking into who was actually working in the building at the time, you'll find that it housed some pretty interesting residents, including a secret CIA office on the 25th floor, an outpost of the US Secret Service, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and New York City's Emergency Command Center. All of these secret offices go down the day of the attack. Last but not least, we have the Pentagon. Theorists have
This
argued
is
that the damage
weirdest
done
one.
to the
Yeah,
Pentagon
Yeah,
wasn't the
I
result
have
of
I
a
have stuff to say about this.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, on the on the Twin Towers, that was one of my journeys I took early on to kind of come out of believing all the normal media hype and stuff when I started digging into it a little more.
Yeah.
And one thing that has always been weird to me, and maybe there, I'm sure there's several opinions on it, but when the planes came in towards the top of the buildings, why did it collapse from the bottom? There wasn't even any fire down here. They're like, oh, well, this all weakened and it started to collapse. Literally, the engineer, because I saw him interviewed, designed that building for structural integrity so that if a floor collapsed, the other floors could support it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all
So-
bullshit. It's all bullshit.
They totally
like-
took that down.
And it's like what about the other building? What about building 7? Like, there's no explanation for this that makes sense. Like, oh, there were fires in it. Well, this is a building made out of steel. It shouldn't fall down randomly in a perfect implosion because it has a fire.
Yeah, well, I agree. And I think building 7 housed a lot of records. I think that was one of its things. It was a big record keeping building. But it was evacuated when the towers were hit. Of course, everybody started to evacuate, but I heard some interviews and it's been a while, so I don't know. My brain cells are probably pretty dusty on it, but there were people who were evacuated that like didn't have to be because they had a bomb shelter or something like that. And they're like, no, just get out. Like they knew the building was going to come down because they're like, our building's fine. We haven't been hit by anything. There's no fire. There's lots of dust and smoke, but that's it. And then, hi, baby. I got a baby.
Dog is inserting themselves.
Yup. So, yeah, it's just that he didn't understand. He knew that they had to get out because of the dust and smoke, but they were making it sound like their lives were in danger. Get out now. So, yeah, I don't know.
Dog thinks he's the star of the show.
Dog is star of the show. Oh, baby. Yeah, you're a good boy.
He thinks he's still little.
Oh,
dog. Our dog, by the way, our dog has gotten so demanding now.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
Like the demands are starting to increase. And it's just like, when we last met, he was demanding a bone every single time one of us went in the kitchen, but he is no longer eating his bone when we give it to him because now there's no other dog in the house to potentially steal the bone if he doesn't eat it. And so now his like he has like 3 beds and one of those beds is the bone bed, where we call it the boneyard, where he stores his leftover bones.
The bone hoarder.
The bone hoarder. And yet he's still, anytime we go in the kitchen, like he is ready. He's like,
Give me another
give me another bone. But now, if Victor leaves, now Kobe starts getting in the kitchen, and now he's trying to get into the trash.
Oh no!
Because Victor usually has like a trash bag just with like beer bottles and stuff like that, and so I'll be up here and I'll hear clink, clink. He's trying to get into the trash, and you know why he's trying to get into the trash? Because one day I accidentally threw a chicken in that trash, like a rotisserie chicken that we were eating, and then a day and a half later he scratched out the bottom of the trash bag and got the chicken.
Oh no!
I was like, you little fucker. Anyway, so the dog is now demanding that everything is his in the house, and he's being very needy and ridiculous.
Well, you know how they are once they have their pile of treats, and it's like, well, give me a new treat. Well, you have 5 of them over there. Yeah, but those are old. Those are old now.
This is exactly like I'll be up here, and Victor will start reasoning with the dog, be like, "No, buddy, I'm not giving you another. But you don't need it. You already have a whole bone over there." And it's like, and you're trying to reason with the dog.
Dog's like, blah 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 blah. Where's my treat?
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, did you have thoughts on the Pentagon? Because I actually have the original footage. Yeah, I have the original footage that was taken.
Yeah,
and
this is some bullshit. There were no fucking plane that hit that building.
It doesn't look like it. I mean, the hole is big, but the camera angle that I have is straight on. It's one of the security cameras, and you see a quick flash, and then and you never see an airplane. And I don't think there's any
no wings.
There's no people say, oh, there was fuselage in the courtyard, and I'm like, was there though?
No,
because the first reports I remember hearing was they couldn't locate. It was so hot the entire plane evaporated or whatever.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was so hot the whole plane evaporated. Yeah, okay, Pentagon. Yeah.
And now we have fuselage in the
Jesus Christ.
courtyard.
Yeah,
I mean, which is it, honey? You know?
whatever. Yeah, these people are liars.
Yeah.
Plane, but potentially a missile launched from inside the US government, citing the dimensions of the impact as evidence. After all, how does a plane 125 feet wide and 155 feet long create a hole that's only 60 feet across?
Exactly.
It's
No
worth
wing
noting
holes,
that plane wreckage has apparently been found at the crash site, and eyewitnesses say that they saw a plane crash. Even the conspiracy theorists themselves don't agree on the missile idea. But could the witnesses have been paid actors in the know? Could the pieces of plane been planted there? The only footage available is from this security camera, and conveniently, no frames are available to see what hit. Whatever
Do you see
happened
that
at the
trail of
Pentagon,
dust on the
question
ground?
remains.
Yeah.
It looks like there's something that's low in the ground, and it's not as large as an airplane. Yeah,
That is not a fucking airplane.
No, it is not.
There is no universe in which that's
From
an airplane. Hang
this
on.
security camera, and conveniently,
Look at that.
It's not a fucking airplane.
no
No.
frames are available.
No, no, come on.
Mm-mm.
No, we're not stupid.
Well,
Government.
even in the Twin Towers, you saw the slits of the wings in the hole.
Yeah.
Of the whole, it
well,
looked
you
like
saw
an
the
airplane.
fucking plane crash into the Twin Towers.
We
on
saw
live
that,
TV. Yeah.
but comparing the damage left behind to this was just a big round hole. There was no and not even I mean, the wings could have broken off, probably. That's fine, but you still would have seen a little nub or a nudge or a notch or something extra from where they hit and broke.
And this is a good point too. This is the Pentagon.
Yes.
You're telling me this
Good
is
point.
the only camera with this in it at the Pentagon? Bullshit.
Yeah.
Available to see what hit. Whatever happened at the Pentagon,
Listen, John. Listen. Were you even fucking born on 9/11? Were you even alive?
I think he's he might be an 01 baby, an 02 baby.
Okay, you're not allowed to talk about this. You were not there. I distinctly have a memory of being in a college dorm room watching that plane hit the second fucking building. You don't get to have an opinion on this, John. You are not old enough, okay?
remains. How could a plane make its way not only into the airspace of one of the most secure military sites in the world, but also crash into their most predominant headquarters? Just like Building 7, theorists hypothesize that incriminating evidence of government wrongdoing was targeted in the Pentagon attack.
The government would never do
Observing
that.
the bigger picture
No.
then,
They would always tell
Why?
us the truth and
Why
be
did this
completely
happen?
upfront about everything.
the most
Yep.
common theory is that 9/11 provided the United States and the United Kingdom with a reason to enter into a war against the Middle East,
You don't, on behalf
most
of
notably
Israel?
Iraq and Afghanistan,
Wow.
Oh, you know the
providing
next
motive
thing
and
that's coming
support
out?
from the general public.
What's the next thing?
Osama bin Laden isn't the villain either.
Oh, yeah. Tucker Carlson is working very hard on that one. Yeah.
I don't know about
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson, but I've been hearing things about how he was like, they were trying to pin him and make him to sound like the next Hitler. Like what they did to Hitler, they're trying to do the same thing to bin Laden. And I'm like, I don't know. This is a lot of truth I'm dealing with right now. But I want to know. I'd rather know the truth and get hurt by it than
Do
be
you know who's
ignorant.
at the center of all of these problems, Jennifer? Literally every single time.
The American government,
Mhm.
Israel.
Aha.
I'm like, wait, ding, ding, ding. Okay.
Aha.
Yeah.
Every single fucking time.
They've been poking the bear for decades and decades.
Most theories about this suggests that the US was after oil in the Middle East, and others purport a variety of banking, corporate, globalization, and military interests for the
Banking,
purpose of
you don't
creating
say.
a globalist government, a
Yeah.
one-world order that could be run behind the scenes by the cabal. But the most interesting theory comes from Dr. Michael Salah, who states that Saddam Hussein, the leader of Iraq at the time, had actually found remnants of a Stargate built by the Anunnaki while excavating one of the
I'm
ziggurats.
sorry,
ancient
what?
Mesopotamian temples in Iraq.
Anunnaki mentioned.
As a result, he had threatened to use it to interact with the Anunnaki to bring about mass disclosure and domination.
Fuck yeah. I love this shit, man.
Osama bin wait. Saddam Hussein found a Stargate and interacted with the Anunnaki.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all part of some Anunnaki plan. Shut the fuck up.
It's only, I think they said it's only one of the theories, but it's like that.
I need to wait. That just came on me real quick, and we need to watch that again. Okay, I need to process this information.
I also have to give a laughing shout out to hold on, where'd it go? Ah, I think it was hold on, now I'm holding shit up. There it is. Travis, one of the highest protected buildings in the US, must use the same security system as Epstein's jail.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. True. Okay. Again, please.
Hussein, the leader of Iraq at the time, had actually found remnants of a Stargate built by the Anunnaki while excavating one of the ziggurats, ancient Mesopotamian temples in Iraq. As a result, he had threatened to use it to interact with the Anunnaki to bring about mass disclosure and domination. Thus, the orchestration of the 9/11 attacks was a deliberate ruse to justify the acquisition of the Stargate and other ancient artifacts and technologies into Western hands.
Oh, man.
And to learn more about this mysterious species, please watch our Anunnaki.
Israel stole the fucking Stargate from Saddam Hussein. Is that what I'm hearing right now? Israel orchestrated 9/11 to steal that. No, to get the Americans to go to war with Saddam Hussein, because this is all we're doing. Fucking Israel's bidding. So Israel orchestrated 9/11 to get Americans to go to war with Saddam Hussein because Saddam Hussein found a Stargate. And Israel wanted the Stargate. Do I have that basically correct?
More or less, yeah. I mean,
the fuck?
Stranger things have happened. Honestly,
it wouldn't even surprise me, Jennifer. Like Jews have Kabbalah. They understand all of this energy shit.
I'll tell you, if that actually was the real reason, this would all make a whole lot more sense.
God.
Oh my God.
Movie on YouTube.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch that Anunnaki movie actually now.
The one from this channel.
Yeah, the one they just mentioned.
Yeah, this was the one I almost had us watch when we did the Anunnaki. And it more or less follows it. It goes into a little bit more of the Bible story, and it's in plain English, so it doesn't have the weird speak we were having to interpret. Okay. So yeah, it's very cute. It's long too.
That's all right.
If any of this is true, then that would imply that at the time, a secret government with their hands in many countries may not have had as much influence as they wanted with certain countries in the Middle East.
A certain government.
Or if the secret government had complete control, then for what reason could they have purposefully staged this event? When we pull back the curtain on the workings behind the scenes, things become strange and even frightening.
It's always the little guys that get in the middle and get trounced on and murdered.
The most infamous mind control experiment in history is MK Ultra, otherwise known as Project Bluebird. The most terrifying thing about it is that it isn't even a theory. MK Ultra was a real documented CIA program for which the CIA has faced repercussions legally. It's well established that some of the experiments in the Ultra Project were illegal. The US government willingly experimented on its citizens without their knowledge or consent. Yet, no one seems to bat an eyelash. Perhaps because no one really knows the true extent of what actually went on behind closed doors.
And they're still doing it.
The official aim was that experiments on humans were intended to develop drugs and procedures to be used in interrogations in order to weaken individuals and force confessions through mind control. The program was officially authorized in 1953, but supposedly got reduced funding continually until its disbandment in 1937. There was also the elusive Montauk experiments located at Camp Hero, Montauk, which began in the 1950s. Camp Hero also swirls with conspiracies and rumors of mind control, psychedelic drug experiments, child abduction, and even time travel.
Time travel?
It seems incredibly
Oh, yeah.
coincidental that the Camp Hero events started in the 1950s, which also experimented with mind control. It doesn't seem to be a stretch to argue these two projects were connected somehow. Interestingly, the events of MK Ultra came to light in 1975 after an inquest by the Rockefeller Commission. Yet efforts to find the background of Ultra were hindered by CIA Director Richard Helm's order that all MK Ultra files be destroyed in 1973. As a result, the committee had to rely on the sworn testimony of direct participants and on the relatively small number of documents that survived Helm's order. In 1977, a Freedom of Information Act request uncovered a cache of 20,000 documents relating to MK Ultra, which led to Senate hearings later that year. As recently as 2018, declassified documents included a letter to an unidentified doctor discussing work on 6 dogs that had been made to run, turn, and stop via remote control and brain implants.
I just pause.
During the
What? They made robot dogs?
They had things implanted into their brains, so they have remote control dogs. Yes,
Man.
disgusting. I just found 2 MK Ultra documentaries. I will preview them. Maybe we'll do that next week.
Yeah, we should definitely do. I was actually just thinking, I'm like, I really need to learn more about MK Ultra. Like, I understand the basic gist of it, and I understand Ted Kaczynski was involved in it and all that stuff, but I've never really looked into it.
Yeah, it's I've found other smaller pieces of it, but I've never really delved. So I've got some pulled up. I'll check them out.
Cool.
experiments, modern estimates place the funding and budget at roughly $87.5 million in today's money. A lot of the early research was focused around the psychedelic drug LSD and whether it could be used to make Soviet spies defect against their will, and whether the Soviets could do the same to the CIA's own operatives. When it first began, they didn't test on strong-minded people, though. No, the first tests of the drug were done on mental patients, prisoners, drug addicts, and sex workers, because, and I quote, they couldn't fight back. According to Tim Weiner, writing in the New York Times, they once administered LSD to a mental patient in Kentucky for 174 days straight, as well as giving it to their own employees, military personnel, and, scariest of all, unknowing members of the general public in order to study their reactions. Many of the drugs were often administered without the subject's knowledge or informed consent, which was a violation of the Nuremberg Code after World War II. This is the only place where the CIA got into legal trouble. It is thought that the aim of this was to find which drugs would bring about deep confessions or wipe a subject's mind clean to be able to program them as robot agents. Later on, another part of the project worked at Menlo Park's Veterans Hospital, where they tested the effects of every kind of psychedelic on the residents there, everything ranging from LSD, psilocybin, mescaline, and cocaine, and even DMT and AMT, another lesser-known psychedelic but similar in nature to DMT. In these experiments, adverse reactions were a pretty common occurrence. One operative who received LSD in his morning coffee became psychotic and ran across Washington, seeing a monster in every car passing him. The experiments continued even after Frank Olson, an army chemist who had never taken LSD before, was secretly dosed by his CIA supervisor and 9 days later plunged to his death from the window of a 13th-story New York City hotel room after falling into a post-trip depression and paranoia.
They have no
There
conscience.
were some people who did consent, and they were subject to even more extreme experiments, such as being dosed with LSD for 77 consecutive days.
Oh, man.
Good God.
The culmination of all of this research, however, was that
a
by
6-hour trip is
1962,
enough, you know?
the CIA had developed a series of super hallucinogens, most notably the BZ compound, which was thought to hold greater promise as a mind control weapon. It was at this point that many academics and private researchers became disillusioned with the project. Perhaps the greatest asset we can learn from this revelation coming to light is not only the extreme methods employed by those within the deep state, but also the acknowledgement that just as much as psychedelics can be used for healing and therapy, there is ample evidence now that they can be used to invoke darkness and lasting psychotic states.
Leave it to
And it
scientists
entirely
and
depends
the
on how
government
they're
to
Yeah,
find
like
ways of hurting people.
fucking spoiler alert. If you take psychedelics every single day for 3 straight months, it's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Be like, psychedelics are dangerous. No. They're not dangerous if you use them properly and responsibly and you don't take them every single day for 3 months.
Yeah, for real. This is the exact kind of lesson from The Sphere. Have you seen The Sphere?
Oh god, it's been a while.
Yeah, the sphere is found at the bottom of the ocean. They go investigate it. If you go inside the sphere, you develop the ability to manifest in reality literally anything. And these scientists all begin manifesting horrible things. And the very end, and Samuel L. Jackson's in it as well. And who else? Dustin Hoffman. And anyway, but he says at the end, he's like, we were given this amazing gift that we could create anything we wanted to, our wildest dreams, and we used it to destroy each other.
Yeah, which is
And it's
exactly
like-
what would happen.
This is what they're doing with drugs, with nuclear power. I mean, it's to go, let's see if we can make it a weapon, or bioweapons like freaking COVID and all this other stuff that happened. I mean, it's never for anything that's beneficial. It's always, how can we hurt somebody else? It just is disgusting to me.
Yeah.
used, messing with the neurochemistry instead of harmonizing it with a higher consciousness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
While all of this was happening, they also experimented with hypnosis, with goals of creating
Nick corrected
hypnotically
me. Lawrence
induced
Fishburne.
anxieties,
Thank you, Nick.
as well as increasing an individual's ability to
Are you
learn
sure?
complex material and increasing memory and cognitive ability. To do this, the CIA actually ended up setting up what were essentially concentration camps for study. And once again,
No, it
we
was
see the
Samuel L.
value
Jackson,
and terrors that come with hypnosis. All the while in the mainstream world, it is laughed at as nothing more than superstition. As Stephen Kinzer pointed out, in areas under American control in the early 1950s, in Europe and East Asia, mostly Japan, Germany, and the Philippines, the CIA created secret detention centers so that the US could avoid criminal prosecution and work in secret. The CIA captured people suspected of being enemy agents and other people it deemed expendable to undertake various types of torture and human experimentation. The prisoners were interrogated while being administered psychoactive drugs,
Dog.
electroshocked, and subjected to extremes of temperature,
Hold on,
sensory
you gotta see how
isolation,
cute she
and a
is.
whole
She's wearing a
host
shirt.
of other
Dog visit.
She's
Dog's
wearing
here.
a little shirt.
Oh, she's all dressed up.
She had a stop licking me. She's after my lip gloss.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, she cut herself on some chicken wire, right here,
Uh-oh.
and she can't lick it. She doesn't scratch it. It doesn't bother her, but she's on antibiotics now. But we had to put a shirt on her so that Bodhi won't lick it, and so it doesn't get all dirty when they're playing outside. So she's got this cute little shirt. It's adorable. Little pink top, little halter top that I used to wear back in the day, vintage from the 90s, 80s, and 90s. Yeah, very cute.
Honey used to love wearing clothes. She
Oh,
loved it. She
really?
would be like,
Have
walk
you
around.
have you seen the video of like the lab? I think it was a golden retriever that is asking to have the butterfly wings put on.
No.
She comes running out. She's got a little princess dress on, and she comes running out with these butterfly wings in her mouth, and she gives them to her owner, and the owner affixes them to her back, and they light up and they flap. And
Oh,
she runs
wow.
over to this window, and she's twirling around, she's looking, and then she actually. She runs over and actually grabs a little bag, a little blue, like a purse in her mouth. And like she has her little bag with her.
Oh no.
It's the cutest thing ever. Don't tell me dogs aren't self-aware.
Man. I saw a video today of like or like a story, I guess, of like apparently there's this guy that goes and feeds all these stray dogs like all the time,
Aw.
but like one of the dogs every day, instead of just coming and collecting the food, the dog brings the guy something. So it brings him like a giant stick or a shoe or a toy or like a coconut or something. Like it brings us like all this, like, and he takes pictures of it every day, and it's like all the dog bringing him all this random shit as a thank you for feeding him.
That is so cute. Well, and there's dogs that like they figure out that paying with money will get them something, so they go and they pick up a leaf and they come and they bring a leaf to get a sandwich or a hot dog or something, and they pay with a leaf, and it's the cutest.
People are like, yes, you can have it.
Yes. This is money from dog.
Other terrible things in order to develop a better understanding of how to destroy and to control human minds. These experiments likely developed tremendous understanding of how the brain responds to a variety of extremes and how it interacts with and filters consciousness. But at what cost? And for what ultimate purpose? Could these experiments lead to an influential decision in manipulating the mainstream narrative, perhaps behind 9/11 or even the COVID pandemic? After 1973, when all of this began to come out into the public, it prompted a number of subjects or their surviving children to file lawsuits against the federal government for conducting experiments without consent. Although the government aggressively and sometimes successfully sought to avoid legal liability, several people did receive compensation through court orders, and this whole battle is still going on today. In fact, while the CIA insists that MKUltra type experiments have been abandoned, Canadian investigative journalist Elizabeth Nixon, whose mother was a subject, claims that they continue today under a different name.
Oh, sure, for sure.
Returning to the beginning, MKUltra initially came to the public awareness due to an inquest from the Rockefeller Commission. Generally today, when you look into the question of the Illuminati, who are often presumed to be the secret government, the Rockefeller family often appears at the top of the list in association or connection. However, it seems that in this case, the Rockefellers brought something nefarious to light. The question is why? Why would they rat out their own operation if they truly were behind it? Was this all orchestrated as part of a singular greater intention? Or are the Rockefellers playing a different game than has been assumed for so long? If the conspiracy theories are to be...
Share with the class, Karlyn.
Someone just DM'd me, hang on, I'll just pull it up. Someone just DM'd me something that James Lindsay just posted, and it's actually kind of like, it's sad, but it's also funny at the same time. Okay, Jennifer.
We interrupt our regularly program.
Okay,
scheduled program for James Lindsay news.
It's a sad thing, but it's also like it's funny in this context. Okay, so do you know about this young blonde Ukrainian woman that got stabbed by the black guy?
Oh,
you know of it.
I've been following it. Yeah, it's awful.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
But so apparently some people on. Do you remember back in 2020 how Black Lives Matter activists posted the black square on their Instagram one day?
Oh yeah.
Well, apparently some of James's favorite racists on Twitter are adopting that strategy, and I have to go way down on his post because James tweets a fucking lot. Okay, Where is it? And apparently, they're now posting white squares.
Wait, because of a white woman?
This is the favorite. These are the racists of Twitter that James doesn't like, and they're adopting the Black Lives Matter tactic of posting a white square. And James is upset.
Oh no, poor James. It seems like turnabout is fair play, right?
I'm posting a white square right now.
Oh god.
I'm doing it. I'm posting a white fucking square. James is all upset. LMAO, they're going to do a White Lives Matter white square campaign, but not woke right. I think we just need to like embrace the woke right at this point.
I
need to embrace it.
I just want to move to the country.
Posting a white square. There we go. You gotta admit that, like, that's a fucking good idea.
Hey, use the tactics that work, right? Oh my God.
I
Well,
love it. What a great idea. What a great idea. I don't know if Sarah Stock came up with that, but that is a great idea. Nothing is going to go wrong with this idea. It'll
well,
be
you
fine.
know, posting flags of other countries and white squares and black squares totally changes the world, doesn't it?
I mean, it could be a swastika. Like, let's just be honest. It could be worse. It could be a swastika. All right.
True.
It really could be, like, in real
True.
life. Okay. All right. Back to this. Breaking
Back
news
to our
over.
regularly scheduled program. Yep.
Break over. No more fun.
Be believed, then it would seem as though this secret government is extremely powerful, pulling strings and influencing global events on nearly every side, as if pushing and pulling everything we perceive. In the Flower of Life books, Melchizedek explains that long ago, in ancient Egypt, the ascended master named Thoth, upon requiring something to happen for the salvation of our species, would appear to a particular leader, a pharaoh at the time, and demonstrate who he was through a miraculous feat, such as glowing or levitating, and then instructing them to take a specific action. While it's very easy to fall into the fear that all things are controlled by a nefarious mind, the holographic demiurge, could it be that ascended masters such as Jesus, Thoth, or even the Anunnaki also have been subtly influencing our species in secretive and mysterious ways?
Yes.
According to
Obviously.
the sources behind this
I don't even know why this
information,
is controversial.
it says that while there are many
Common
experiments
knowledge,
going
at
on
least for
behind the
us.
scenes,
Yeah.
along with large catastrophes to the Earth's environments, knowing and cultivating the energy within your body, the toroidal energetic field of your heart, and the human light body, often
There's
called
your
a
3D
Merkaba,
Merkaba.
bestows you with the ability to change everything.
Or
You can
Merkaba?
heal yourself
Merkaba.
and the world around you, alleviate suffering, and bring peace and harmony to the world. For spirit lives within you, and truly, all things are possible. All it takes is an effort to learn and connect with the benevolent God spark within you.
True.
The greatest challenge, then, may very well be that not everybody is looking to create this connection, and it seems as though many don't even care at all. The greatest part of this story is still yet to come. As you're watching this, if you're someone who feels called to become anchored to light, truth,
Oh, this is a
and your
little bit
own
of
inner
a
sovereignty,
join our
you are
website.
cordially
thing.
invited to come in a
No commercials, please.
Strength.
A little self promo
cool
there.
link
Yeah,
below.
you can't blame them. It's a long movie, you know.
Yeah. And their website's really cool.
I mean, it is a fair point though to say it's like there's so many people that like I'm always amazed when I talk to people that just have no interest in spiritual questions or even like what is the meaning of life? Why are
Yeah.
we here? What the fuck is this? Why do so many strange things happen that people want us to ignore? Like
Yeah.
all of this stuff, and it's just like there's never been a point in my life where I haven't been like I guess searching for answers in some respects, and sometimes we're more productive than others. Like sometimes I was more into it than others, but like it boggles my mind that there are just so many people that are so turned off to it, and I completely blame Christianity. I think Christianity has robbed so many people
Yeah.
from being able to connect with who they like the essence of themselves, and being able to connect with God and like and source and like whatever you want to call it. And it's just like it's like a crime, man. It really is. It's too bad.
It is unfortunate when, especially the programming that goes on, and don't search on anything because it's all the devil. Anything except for in this church is outside of that is the devil. So don't search. Don't everything that is magical and connects you with nature and the universe and each other is the devil. And it's very sad and upsetting. And I know that not all Christians believe that. And but I mean it's what is taught, and it makes me angry because so many of them believe that. And if I'm being honest, it's part of it's a very big reason why I am nervous to move to a southern state in the Bible Belt, because I am a pagan and practicing witch and high priestess, and it's like
I think you'll be okay.
I will be in the broom closet is what that will be.
You're going to be able to find other pagans where you're moving.
Oh, we found a group. My mom actually did, which I was surprised. She looked for a group. There's a Tennessee pagan group just southeast of Knoxville They have like a 30 acres and they do festivals and ceremony and ritual and camping, and it looks really cool. So we'll probably hook up with them, but you just got to be careful in the day to day because people get twitchy. You know, they're so scared of others.
You know what? I've reached the point with this where I truly no longer care what Christians think of me. Like, I don't care. Like Christians get to go around talking about their religion and proselytizing and damning people to hell for not agreeing with them and all this stuff. And they feel like they get to say whatever they want, and they have the gall to say they're persecuted. But if I say anything about tarot cards, or astrology, or energy, or any of these things, you're damned to hell, and baby, you like, Christians are not the poor victims of the world, and they need to shut the fuck up and let other people have their beliefs.
Let's be honest. No major religion is a poor victim of anything.
Yeah.
They're all controlling and manipulating. So, I mean, I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear the persecutions wah story from anybody anymore. I just don't. I'm over it.
Tarot cards. Yeah, I do. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because God blessed me with an amazing psychic ability, and it's too bad he didn't do that for you. He must like me better.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. You know what you believe, Christians? You believe that a virgin had a child, okay? You believe a virgin had a child, and that's not fucking possible. You believe someone came back from the dead. No, that's not what happened either. And you make shit up all the time, and you're goddamn right I use cards to access my intuition at a deeper level and to be able to understanding the inner workings of my mind. Yes, absolutely. 100%.
When they say, a voice in my head told me to turn right instead of left, it's God or an angel. But when I say it, it's the devil.
Yeah.
Same freaking mechanism, you asshole.
I literally do connect with angels too. I do a lot of stuff with like angelic energy. And they're like, no, that's not real. Oh, really? Then where the fuck are your angels from? Okay.
I just can't. I just can't.
Yeah.
Seriously,
I'm not taking their shit anymore. I'm not backing down this time. I backed down after they canceled me for saying Hitler went to heaven. I'm not backing down this time. They can go fuck themselves.
Well, I still think he can't go to heaven if you don't believe in heaven, but to put it in their language to relate to them, and even then they jumped on you without asking further questions, leading questions like, what makes you think that? What exactly do you mean by that? No, it was just pile right on, and it's just the mob mentality. Yeah. I can't. Maybe that's what it is about organized religion that spooks me and irritates me the most, is the mob mentality of it.
Yep, exactly.
Having talked about the secret government, we've begun to get a glimpse into the scenes behind society at large. But things take a strange turn the deeper we go, as many of the mysteries surrounding the secret government suggest hidden powers beyond our wildest dreams. Then the battle for human consciousness may go well beyond just humanity, but truly be a grab at the ultimate powers of the universe itself. Over the last several years, the directed energy weapons conspiracy has taken root across the internet. As major fires erupted the last several years, from California to Australia, speculation that these were not natural fires quickly took the internet by storm, as hundreds of thousands of people sharing videos showed what appeared to be a laser beam striking the area of the fire, often just before the inferno began.
These directed
energy weapons, shortened now to DEWs, are believed to be powerful superweapons using satellite technology or stealth aircrafts, and part of a difficult to detect weaponization of the skies and heavens. Looking back to nearly 100 years ago, it's well known that Nikola Tesla himself was working on a death ray, although he provided a different, more neutral title, particle beam, developed under the codename Teleforce. This device supposedly accelerated pellets or slugs of material to a high velocity inside a vacuum chamber using electrostatic repulsion, and then fired them out of aimed nozzles at intended targets. When talking about his device in 1934, he explained that many thousands of horsepower can thus be transmitted by a stream thinner than a hair, so that nothing can resist, going on to say that in theory, it could bring down a fleet of 10,000 enemy airplanes at a distance of 200 miles from a defending nation's border, and will cause armies to drop dead in their tracks, culminating in the tagline that it would be a weapon to end all wars. We know that after Tesla died, John Trump found when he was brought in by the Office of Alien Custody a part of Tesla's death ray, a 45-year-old multi-decade resistance box, which is an instrument that can replicate different electrical values in a circuit.
Wasn't John Trump his
Is it
father?
possible that Tesla's particle beam laid the groundwork for the so-called DEWs being used today? And if so, what reason would there be for using it to start the California and possibly Australia fires?
Oh, Fred Trump. Wait, hang on.
The first time DEWs were brought to the public attention was in 2017, when Napa, California suffered the biggest wildfire in its history, and countless YouTube investigations took place into videos and photos of fires skipping houses and trees, seemingly burning straight lines through the community.
It's like
the next year, 2 separate California fires began on November 8th of 2018, the Camp Fire and the Woolsey Fire. And once again, people began to notice some pictures and video captured that seemed to show evidence of energy beams from the heavens assaulting the Golden State. Things become even weirder when we take into account the video of a burning tree from the inside, begging the question, how would this even happen? Some might suggest that it was hit by lightning, but rather unlikely in the midst of a wildfire, especially seeing that around the tree, there doesn't look like there's much fire nearby. There's also definitely no rain.
Can I answer a question?
The wildfires were indeed very strange.
Go ahead.
Judgmental Lizard. Have you guys heard of the Baron Trump books? I have. That shit is crazy.
What is that?
So basically, some books were found from, maybe help me out with this a little, Lizard. Help me out, because I'm trying to remember when it was. Was it like the 20s or something like that, that they found books written by Baron Trump?
Oh, I did hear about this.
Yeah. That he might be a time traveler. That hasn't happened yet. But
I mean, Baron Trump is gonna avenge whatever his father. No, Baron Trump can no longer have the avenge story. Is the thing. His father's a cuck to Israel, so it's like it sucks now. But
maybe that's what he's gonna be mad at.
Maybe
he's being used, you know. But yeah, so the Victorian era. Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, they found these books written by a Baron Trump, and they can't find that author anywhere of that time period. There is no author named Baron Trump in that time period.
That's funny.
And I don't remember. Do you remember, Lizard, what those books were about? Because I don't remember at all. It's been I know just enough to get me in trouble, but not enough to like explain it all, at least in that. But I'd have to look it up, to the Adventures of Baron Trump. Okay, yeah. So very interesting stuff. But I want to say it's kind of talking like prophetic, like this is what's going to happen, and then it does, and it's written by a time traveler. We'll see. Oh, it was about Baron, not by him. Are you sure? Okay, yeah. I will have to look it up, because I don't exactly. It's a book about Baron Trump, not. Oh, okay. Then I misunderstood that. I truly thought he was the author. Okay, I misunderstood that. Then I'll have to look into it some more.
All right.
Research forthcoming.
There you go.
Consider the images of cars melting on the road near intact wildlife, houses burned to ash besides their unharmed neighbors, and other oddities.
What do you have?
While of course, some people might have set their houses on fire amidst the chaos to cash in on their insurance, there's enough evidence here to suggest there's more at play than just that. But the most incriminating evidence for the use of DEWs is this satellite data collected on the scene. This video was released only on September 8th, 2020, showing that DEWs are a significant likelihood for explaining the origins of these devastating wildfires.
Crazy.
So, if it's true that wildfires are being started with DEWs, then who is behind
it? I don't know what it is.
Why are they doing it? Is it the Chinese or the Russians trying to covertly attack the US? Is it the government themselves trying to clear land or cause panic and poverty to breed dependence in its population? Many theorists suggest that the fires both in California and Australia happen to be along the paths that long proposed high-speed rail networks would be built, and that the military testing may very well be performed in a location that would clear space of cheap land for the government to use at the same time. Interestingly, an update from the US Department of Defense themselves as recently as September 16th seemingly confirmed the presence of, or at least research into DEWs, saying that new technologies are fundamentally changing the character of war, and the two Air Force services are leading that charge. China and Russia seek to erode our long-standing dominance in air power through long-range fires, anti-access/aerial denial systems, and other asymmetric capabilities designed to counter our strengths. They went on to say that both China and Russia have placed weapons on satellites and are known to be developing directed energy weapons to exploit US systems. While the US government hasn't confirmed or denied if they have their own, if Russia and China has them, then it would only make sense that the US wouldn't be far behind, or even secretly be ahead. As we learned from Wernher von Braun, whoever controls and militarizes space ultimately controls the world. Perhaps space is already militarized, far more than any of us realize.
Probably.
Yeah.
DEWs are only half the story, however, for just as it's believed the powers that be have immense firepower in the form of super lasers, it's also suggested that they have even discovered how to manipulate and control other aspects of nature, being able to create rain and snow and storm anywhere and anytime, or even create earthquakes, which brings us to the next aspect of this theory, centered around the weather research program HARP. Since the mid-2000s, the HARP program has become pretty infamous for its connections with everything from chemtrails to hurricanes, and even as recently as 2010, the Venezuelan leader Hugo Chavez claimed that HARP, or a program like it, triggered the Haiti earthquake. To be fair, he didn't cite a source, and the official story is that it was caused by the slippage of a previously unmapped fault along the border of the Caribbean and North American tectonic plates. At any rate, HARP stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, and was essentially put forward as a weather research initiative. It was designed to analyze the ionosphere, a portion of the upper atmosphere that stretches from about 53 miles above the surface of the Earth to 370 miles up. The program had been funded by the Air Force, the Navy, the University of Alaska, and DARPA. In May of 2014, the Air Force announced that the HARP program would be shut down later that year. But while experiments ended in the summer of 2014, the complete shutdown and dismantling of the facility was postponed until at least May of 2015. Nowadays, however, the facility and equipment are controlled by the University of Alaska Fairbanks, who hire it out to independent researchers. The official research was mostly weather-based, as you might have guessed, but the US military was also interested in the ionosphere because it plays a role in transmitting radio signals. HARP sends radio beams into the ionosphere to study the responses from it, one of the few ways to accurately measure this inaccessible part of the atmosphere. The end goal of the program, however, was to understand the physics of the ionosphere, which is constantly responding to influences from the sun. Solar flares can send solar particles racing toward Earth, occasionally disrupting communications and the electrical grid. If scientists could better understand what happens in the ionosphere, they might be able to mitigate some of these problems. Naturally, any notion of scientists messing with frequency signals and solar flares is a hotbed for alternative theories regarding weather manipulation, though. Mitchell Chosudovsky has argued that recent evidence suggests that HARP is fully operational and has the capability of triggering floods, hurricanes, droughts, and earthquakes. While a lot of the theories surrounding HARP
they
are
blame it
just
on global
conjecture,
warming.
Yeah,
some sources have
exactly.
argued that during the Obama administration, it was used to cause Hurricane Sandy, and throughout its years of operation, it has arguably been responsible for thunderstorms in Iran, Pakistan, Haiti, Turkey, Greece, and the Philippines, and even causing major power outages, the downing of TWA Flight 800, Gulf War Syndrome, and chronic fatigue syndrome. And on a more benevolent note, It was also responsible for the creation of the first artificially produced aurora in 2005.
Oh, yeah?
Interestingly, the program cost more than $290 million to build, with much of the budget being earmarked by the late Senator Ted Stevens, who had great influence over the US defense budget during his time in Congress. When looking into the whole thing though, two names that almost always come up are that of Nick Begich and his son Mark. Nick was an Alaskan politician who disappeared mysteriously in a plane crash in 1972, and over the years, his son became obsessed with uncovering mysteries. In his self-published book on HARP, Mark claimed that a Russia military journal warned that blasting the ionosphere would trigger a cascade of electrons that could flip Earth's magnetic poles. While it may sound like a good science fiction novel, it's no secret that the Alaska State Legislature and the European Parliament held hearings about HARP and did in fact get into disputes over concerns about what effects it could have on the environment. Further, the military's response only worried theorists more. When program managers swore that the facility would never be used for military functions, Mark went on to find military reports touting satellite binding research plans, along with then Secretary of Defense William Cohen's suggestion that electromagnetic waves could alter the climate and control earthquakes and volcanoes remotely. Numerous theories have also suggested that HARP is responsible for a mysterious hum heard all around the world, along with the targeted individuals phenomenon using frequency targeting for certain individuals. Naturally, since the facility has officially been shut down, allegations argue that such actions and cases of advanced technology are the work of the deep state, which brings us to the next part of this theory.
Hey, Jennifer.
The Philadelphia...
Go ahead.
The Philadelphia experiment. This is a good one. Do you remember years ago when people were talking about hearing humming, low humming, or low, some sort of low resonance sound, and then all around the world people were recording sounds and talking about sounds of like booms, really deep booms that were just being heard, and it usually happened at the wee hours of the morning, like 1, 2, 3 o'clock. You remember any of that?
Maybe vaguely, but I don't think I remember it in any depth. No.
Okay, I'm trying to remember when that was. I want to say it was or in the teens-ish, but it was kind of going on before that as well. But yeah,
let's see if ChatGPT knows. So what should we ask it? So when go ahead.
I'm trying to think, like, yeah, when were people hearing humming or booms in 2 in the morning?
Let's see if it knows. If ChatGPT figures this out.
That's a pretty vague question.
Yeah, we were very vague. Yeah, it's giving me a very generic answer. It's like, well, maybe this happened and maybe here's what happened. It's like, okay, that's not exactly what I was asking ChatGPT, but okay. Good effort. Good effort.
Melinda
AI
says
can't win
look
every
up
time.
worldwide hum.
Worldwide hum. Okay.
Uh-huh.
When was the worldwide hum? Says it's not tied to a single moment in time. Something happened in the 50s and the 60s. Something happened in the 70s. Something happened in the 90s. So there are apparently a lot of hums.
Okay. Yeah.
The 1990s to the 2000s, the term worldwide hum gains currency as reports accumulated across rural areas. So that might be what you're talking about, like the 90s.
No, it was the last couple decades. It was this century.
Oh,
but yeah,
I don't know, then.
They're saying they heard like these explosions and booms and the humming, and especially like in the Soviet Union, there were a lot of videos coming out.
Oh, hang on. In the 2010s, media coverage emphasized that thousands of people claimed to hear the same low frequency droning, usually strongest late at night or early morning.
There you go.
Yeah,
HARP. There you go.
Cool.
Experiment is probably one of the most famous advanced technology theories out there today, and it goes something like this. It was the summer of 1943, 2 years into the United States' involvement in World War II. A bloody sea battle was raging between American destroyers and the famed U-boat submarines of the Nazis. In the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, a newly commissioned destroyer called the USS Eldridge was being equipped with several large generators as part of a top-secret mission to win the Battle of the Atlantic once and for all. Supposedly, however, these new generators weren't just for extra engine speed. Following the theoretical aspects of Project Rainbow, they were designed to power a new kind of magnetic field that would make the warship invisible to enemy radar. According to the theory, with the full crew on board, once the generators were switched on, witnesses described an eerie green glow surrounding the hull of the ship. Then, almost instantaneously, the Eldritch disappeared, not even visible to radar, entirely gone, vanished into thin air. According to supposed classified military reports, when the ship returned, members of the crew suffered terrible burns and disorientation, along with a few crew members being found partially embedded in the steel hull of the ship, still alive, but with legs or arms sealed to the deck. The experiment was allegedly based on an aspect of some unified field theory, which merged theories of electromagnetism and gravity into one complete theory. The generators were said to be able to bend light around an object via refraction, so that the object became completely invisible. However, other theories are far more interesting, suggesting that the Eldridge actually moved into a higher dimension, which is how, upon returning, people were found merged to the ship. Despite the effects on the crew, however, some theorists put forth that the experiment was repeated on October 28, 1943. This time, the Eldridge not only became invisible, but it disappeared from the area in a flash of blue light and reappeared in Norfolk, Virginia, over 200 miles away. It's said that the Eldridge sat for some time in view of men aboard the SS Andrew Furuseth, whereupon the ship vanished again and reappeared in Philadelphia at the site it had originally
the
occupied.
movie The Philadelphia Experiment
And
is
what's
great.
more,
It's really
it had
good.
somehow traveled 10 minutes back in time. To understand if there is any truth to this conspiracy event, however, we need to look at the people who first brought it to light. In general, almost everything we know about the Philadelphia experiment comes from two main people. In 1955, UFOologist, astronomer, and researcher Morris Jessup had just published his book on the case for UFOs in the government when he got two letters from a man named Carlos Miguel Allende, who claimed to have witnessed the events of the experiment, claiming that not only had the ship been rendered invisible, but that they had actually shifted dimensions. Jessup thought Allende was a wacko, since he claimed to have been taught by Albert Einstein himself. In the letters,
Oh, that
Allende
was the other
explained how the
thing.
US military
What was the
used
other thing?
Einstein's
About Europa.
Yeah.
Fucking not Albert
Yeah.
Einstein.
Yeah.
Stop taking
Jewish.
my heroes away.
Jewish.
Really?
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, no, that I knew. That didn't bother me. But the
Yeah.
fact that he was a fraud
Yeah. Well,
and didn't
well,
well,
yeah.
a copycat.
Yep. It's over. It's over. Everything you've ever been told is wrong. It's over.
You know, one dude once said, every book, anything in every book in every library is a lie,
Mm-hmm.
is what he said. And I was like, not the fiction stuff though. But okay,
Well,
so
we
we're
know
not
that's a lot. Well, actually, the fiction sometimes might be more truth than
really
I mean, seriously, if it's a good fiction.
right.
revelations to conduct the experiment, but after that, no other witnesses from the crew of the Eldridge or nearby ships came forward for 13 years or so. After trying to figure out if Allende's claims had any truth to them, Jessup was frustrated and ready to drop the investigation entirely when he was contacted by two officers from the Navy Office of Naval Research, or the ONR, in 1957, saying that they had received a copy of Jessup's book annotated by handwritten notes claiming advanced knowledge of physics that linked extraterrestrial technology to breakthroughs in unified field theory. Jessup took a look and immediately recognized Allende's handwriting, after which the ONR actually published over 127 copies with the annotations included. Eventually, this idea became so popular in fringe theories that it was turned into a feature film in 1984. For years, Allende had claimed to be the sole witness of the experiment, claiming to have been stationed on the SS Furusev. After the release of the film, however, a man named Al Bielek came forward claiming to have personally taken part in the experiment and said that he had been brainwashed to forget. It was only after seeing the movie in 1984 did his repressed memories come flooding back. But our story doesn't end there, for the events of the Montauk Air Force Base supposedly continued where the Philadelphia experiment left off. Following the theories put forward by Preston Nichols and Peter Moon, sometime in the late 1950s, secret researchers from the original Philadelphia project began to conduct research into manipulating the electromagnetic fields for military use, simultaneously looking into its effects on human psychology and behavior, and perhaps even going deeper into understanding the mysterious dimensional shift that supposedly took place. A report was supposedly prepared and presented to the United States Congress, which was strongly rejected for being way too dangerous and inhumane. So instead, the researchers made direct contact with the Department of Defense, promising a powerful new weapon that could drive an enemy insane, inducing symptoms of schizophrenia at the touch of a button. Without mainstream approval, the project would have to be top secret and black funded. According to the theory, the Department of Defense approved, and Project Phoenix was born. Supposedly, equipment was moved to Camp Hero at the Montauk base in the mid to late 1960s and installed in an underground bunker beneath the base so that they could take advantage of the satellite dish without drawing public attention. According to conspiracy theorists, to mask the nature of the project, the site was closed in 1969 and donated as a wildlife refuge park. Yet, even the government maintains that Camp Hero remained in operation well into the 1980s. This is where the theory starts to get pretty dark, as numerous people have pointed out atrocities that were supposedly committed. Supposedly, homeless people were abducted and subjected to huge amounts of electromagnetic radiation, with few surviving. People allegedly had their psychic abilities enhanced to the point where they could materialize objects out of thin air, but at the cost of their emotional and mental stability. Mind control experiments were conducted, runaway boys were supposedly abducted and brought out to the base where they underwent excruciating periods of both physical and mental torture in order to break their minds, after which their minds were reprogrammed. And of course, research into time travel and dimensional doorways were happening constantly. Could this also be the roots of the legendary Montauk Monster, a strange creature that washed up on shore near Montauk in 2008?
There was more than one of
Some
these,
believe
too.
that this may have even been a higher dimensional creature.
What was that?
There were more than one kinds of weird-ass looking creatures that washed up from on shore from Montauk Island.
That's crazy.
It was like a real kind of Dr. Oh shit! What's the guy? What's the dude that like experimented with humans and animals? Dr. Moreau. It was kind of like a Dr. Moreau scenario, but they were genetically experimenting with live creatures, real creatures. But I think somebody said this actually is a raccoon. But when you see that beak, it's like, no, that's not a raccoon.
Not a fucking raccoon.
No, it's not. But yeah, there's been some other weird shit that's washed up since.
They want to say that's a raccoon?
That's the disinformation. Like, no, this is actually just a defurred raccoon. The fur fell off because in the water it's skin bloated and the fur fell off. I'm like, really? Is that how that works? Because I've never heard that before, but okay. But it does not look like a raccoon.
Has the person who said that ever seen a raccoon?
I don't know. It was some disinformation blog or whatever a long time ago.
Wow.
No idea. But yeah, I'm like, okay. Yeah, but there's been all kinds of weird shit that have come up that they found. There's there was even there have been many documentaries made about it.
Poor dog.
Like,
poor demon bird dog.
Poor demon bird dog. I know.
Which was brought into our reality during the experiments. After the experiments were completed, depending on which theory you read, the facility was closed for good or destroyed, and all the staff were brainwashed, shot, or sworn to absolute secrecy, with all records also destroyed. According to some theories, though, research continues at the site to this day with enhanced security. One of the most popular tellings of the Montauk experiments is with the Netflix series Stranger Things, of which the original title was actually going to be Montauk. Now, if time or dimensional travel is involved, then it may be possible that humanity has existed in multiple realities or timelines, and that even one instance of time travel may result in millions of people shifting into another time stream in the multiverse, where things are...
Jennifer,
Yes, Karlyn.
are we entering the time is not real portion of the documentary?
Let me see. We've had Wieners mentioned, Anunnakis mentioned,
Yep.
Jews mentioned. So yeah, I believe that's where we
Time's
are.
not real. Time's not real. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Totally.
are ever so slightly different than they were before. The Mandela effect is a widespread phenomenon where people in mass remember certain things differently than they are today. Officially, the phenomenon is categorized as a case of false memory in mainstream circles, but the name was coined after Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, who was reported to have died in 2013.
This stuff makes me
problem is,
crazy. The Mandela
Countless
stuff.
people all
Yeah,
over
facts.
the world, including Fiona Broome, who came up with the term, distinctly remember him dying in prison in the 1980s. Another weird example is Neil Armstrong. Strangely, despite his importance, people had no recollection of his death. Many fans apparently forgot or didn't notice the news of his passing in August of 2012. One of the more studied prominent examples, though, comes from a 2010 study that examined people familiar with the clock at Bologna Centrale railway station, which was damaged in the bombing in August 1980. In the study, 92% of respondents falsely remembered the clock had remained stopped since the bombing, when, in fact, the clock was repaired shortly after the attack. Other very well-known Mandela effects include the title of the cartoon Looney Tunes actually being spelled Tunes rather than Toons. Curious George actually never having a tail.
I thought he had a tail.
Febreze
Yeah, that's
only being
bullshit.
spelled with one E.
No,
Forrest
two E's.
Gump saying his famous phrase in the past tense, stating that life was like a box of chocolates. Pikachu having a black mark on his tail, but
Black
today he
Mark
doesn't.
on the- yeah.
Berenstain Bears
That one
actually
I didn't
spelled
care about.
Berenstain Bears. And even some cases of people thinking there were 51
That was
or
probably just a
52
typo.
states in the US rather than 50.
Well, that's just
Although
stupidity.
that last one
Well, there
might
are
be just an
52
indictment of the
there-
American
because we have two
education system.
provinces.
That doesn't count.
Some New
I
Age
competed
proponents of
nationally
this do
against
argue
52
that
states.
such large-scale false memories is evidence of dimension
The one
hopping
that gets me is
or
the fruit of
shifting
the
to an
loom.
alternative or
No, that's not real. That had a fucking cornucopia. I've seen
It
it.
fucking did. I know.
I saw some guy posted. I saw a picture of some guy posting some socks with the fucking old logo on it that were like stuck in the back of his drawer or something. Had the cornucopia. So the fruit of the loom, like it had the cornucopia, and that is like the final answer. And the
It has to.
and the fucking Monopoly man had a monocle.
He
And
had
I
a
don't-
monocle.
He
He fucking
absolutely
did.
had a monocle.
They're just psyoping us in some way. But
Yeah.
the reason I knew what a cornucopia was, how I learned what that word meant, was because of fruit of the loom. Because someone said cornucopia, and I'm like, what's that? And they said, oh, it's a thing on the fruit of the loom with the fruit coming out, the horn basket thing. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like they had trademark. I've seen trademark papers with that fucking cornucopia.
Yes. And the monocle same. I think they're sooner or later they're going to tell us there was never a black woman on Aunt Jemima or a black guy on the pancake batter that he did, like a Glamis and stuff like that. Like they'll start saying, oh no, that was never real. That's a Mandela effect. Fuck you. I was there, man.
Nothing that we know is real. Everything is fake and gay.
It's fake again.
parallel reality where
Everything
things
is
are
fake and
similar
gay.
but ever so slightly different. The question is, if this is true, who is causing us to switch realities? Is it simply accidental, or is someone deliberately manifesting a collective reality that we're all complicit in? If the secret government did indeed perform time travel experiments and shifted our realities even just a bit, what else might have been changed in our past, present, or future? You see, if the powers that be actually have control of this reality, then nothing is off limits. Time and space
Karlyn.
could be bent
Hey,
to the
Jennifer.
will of anyone who had the
it-
power or
Go ahead.
Is it kind of like we've always been at war with Oceania?
Yeah, it's like we've always been at war with Eurasia, and we'll always be, except we're at war with the other one, East Asia.
East Asia and
God.
Oceania. Yep, that's what
Exactly
this is
what
like.
it's like.
technology to do so. In that case, the question is, who is ultimately driving the ship of the paradigms in which we exist? Do we have any say at all in our future?
No.
Nope.
Who
We're all
has the
fucked.
keys to ultimate
over.
power? The mysteries are about to be revealed.
Here
For
comes.
decades,
Mystery.
a mystery in the skies has
over.
captivated and deeply concerned people
Oh yay!
across
Now
the
we're gonna
world.
get into chemtrails. I think.
Chemtrails, the long white streaks left behind by high-flying
Come to this little
airplanes,
goddess room.
have
I'll be right
sparked
back.
fierce
Okay.
debates among scientists, researchers, and skeptics alike. To some, these trails are thought of as harmless condensation trails, contrails, formed when water vapor in jet exhaust freezes at high altitudes. But this simply cannot be true, because contrails dissipate very quickly, while chemtrails linger for hours and hours, indicating that there's something else being dispersed. Thus, many have come to see them as something far more calculated and sinister, deliberate chemical dispersals aimed at achieving specific, hidden agendas.
Uh-oh.
The modern chemtrail theory began to take shape in the late 1990s and early 2000s, when observers noticed the unusual persistence in these trails, forming hazy patterns, sometimes seeming like a deliberate crisscross in the sky. Many began to question whether something unusual was occurring in the upper atmosphere. The release of a 1996 US Air Force report titled Weather as a Force Multiplier, Owning the Weather in 2025, added fuel to the fire. The document speculated on future military uses of weather modification technology, including its potential to enhance or disrupt military operations. Around the same time, growing attention was being paid to the HARP research facility in Alaska, a high-frequency ionosphere research program suspected by some to be part of secret experiments involving weather control, electromagnetic manipulation, and even mind control. By 1999, the late-night radio host Art Bell began discussing chemtrail theories on his widely popular show, introducing the concept to an even larger audience. That same year, Clifford Carnicom, a scientist and one of the earliest investigators, conducted a series of atmospheric tests. Carnicom's experiments revealed high levels of unusual particles in the air, including metallic particles, strange fibers, and crystalline substances. His findings suggested that something unnatural was being introduced into the atmosphere. These discoveries became the foundation of the chemtrail theory, and the term chemtrails was born. Carnicom's subsequent documentary, Aerosol Crimes, released in 2005, presented evidence of atmospheric manipulation and inspired a new wave of researchers to join the investigation. Over the years, chemtrail researchers have identified a wide range of suspected motives for these operations, each more unsettling than the last. One of the most commonly proposed explanations is weather modification. Geoengineering techniques such as cloud seeding, which involves spraying silver iodide to induce rainfall, are well documented and widely used. Chemtrail theorists suggest these techniques may have been taken to extreme levels, with the military or private organizations attempting to manipulate global weather patterns. This could include attempts to reduce the effects of climate change, creating artificial droughts or storms, or using the weather as a weapon in covert
This music
warfare.
is bothering me. It's
The
making me
role of
very
HARP
uneasy.
is often
I
tied
don't
to these
like it.
theories, with some claiming it enhances the atmospheric
It's like
effects
we were
of
so
chemtrails,
peaceful for a
allowing
while.
precise control over weather systems
I feel like I'm
or
in a drumming
disrupting
circle.
enemy nations'
exactly,
agriculture
exactly.
and infrastructure. Other theories propose that chemtrails are being used for psychological or biological manipulation. Some believe that chemicals dispersed through chemtrails suppress human consciousness, keeping people docile, compliant, and disconnected from their spiritual potential. Others suggest that these chemicals are linked to health issues, such as respiratory illnesses, autoimmune diseases, and even conditions like Morgellons syndrome, a rare and controversial skin disorder. While mainstream science has not verified these claims, the persistence of these theories raise questions about the long-term effects of airborne particulates on human health. Further, the presence of metallic particles, such as aluminum and barium in the atmosphere, as suggested by independent studies, has led some to speculate that these chemicals could interact with electromagnetic fields to alter human behavior or even target specific populations. Theorists claim that these particles are deliberately introduced to conduct experiments on mass populations without their consent. The more elaborate theories argue that chemtrails are designed to fulfill multiple agendas simultaneously. These include controlling food populations by altering soil chemistry to favor genetically modified crops, manipulating global populations by reducing fertility rates, and even preparing the atmosphere for advanced holographic or electromagnetic technologies. Photographs of unmarked military jets leaving these trails have first.
Breaking news. Hang on. Breaking news.
Oh,
Breaking
God.
News. Breaking news.
Here we
Breaking
go.
News.
Karlyn is amused. We should all be scared.
All the fucking classical liberals are melting down over this white square thing, and it's so fucking funny.
Are they like equating it to like white power?
They're equating it to Black Lives Matter, and it's just like,
Well, yeah.
it's
They
like,
were an inspiration.
That's exactly the fucking point, retards.
Congratulations, you figured it out.
Yeah, like, congratulations. You two are like, God, look at Carrie. Look here. Woke right morons are doing a fake and gay white
Fake and
square.
gay.
How the fuck is it fake? It's a white square. You can miss me with that sheeple nonsense. I righteously mocked the black square malarkey after George Floyd, and I'll mock this woke crap too. Don't be easily led by fools.
Do you
And
know
then-
what just really gets under my skin is when bitches like that call themselves righteous. I righteously mocked it. Fuck yourself.
Yeah.
How full of yourself are you? Really?
Oh, she's
Oh, I know.
She is a good Christian,
Oh, of
Jennifer.
course.
She's
Yeah,
a
that's
good
right.
Christian that just
That's
became
right.
a Christian like 2 years ago.
It's all
And
for
she's
Jesus.
yeah, exactly. It's all for she is bullying people on the internet for Jesus. Praise Jesus.
I do know. Yeah, praise him. Did I ever tell you about the lady I worked with who used to sing to Jesus while she took a dump in the ladies' room?
No, and I don't want to hear about it. I don't like that type of talk.
It
Jennifer.
was hilarious.
Oh man. We got Frank here. Frank, please don't do this stupid ass
That's
spiritual liberal shit. This shouldn't be our George Floyd. This is a time for real action. Make sure that some is faking gay. Meh.
So now we can say gay again. So that's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
We can call
Well,
things gay again.
Carrie's trying so hard to be part of the cool kids. You know, Carrie used
I
to be
can
part of
see
the cool
that.
kids, and
Yeah.
then the cool kids became racist and neo-Nazis, and then Carrie had to righteously reject them to be in James Lindsay's good graces, and now she's trying so hard. She's like, I'm gonna talk like the kids talk. This is fake and gay and retarded.
Thanks, South Park. You taught Carrie Smith a new word.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, this is
I was like, they're fucking freaking out over a white square.
we cannot celebrate
No,
any kind of white anything.
You will
Yeah.
not post a white square on your timeline.
Yeah.
It's like,
You will not
okay.
celebrate anything that isn't a POC. And what's funny is like I didn't think she was in the like pro POC bandwagon or minority bandwagon.
She's a liberal. She's always been a liberal. She'll always be a liberal. Of course she is. She's
Why
like,
did I think she was
we are
Republican?"
colorblind and we are a meritocracy and everyone is colorblind and I don't
Oh.
even see color. I'm like, I fucking see color. Like
I thought
absolutely
she
see
was
color.
a Christian Republican. I misunderstood. Okay.
No, she
Never mind.
she pretended to be that for a while and then she realized that she was a liberal.
She has
so-
no mind of her own, so she has to
Yeah.
go follow the
She
the
has to go
Democrats,
after
liberals.
whatever James Lindsay says because she spends most of her time defending him at this point.
Well, from what we understand, he is not faithful to his marriage, so maybe she'll finally get lucky.
No, she's not. He's not faithful to his marriage. That is very, very true. But we don't. That's idle gossip, Jennifer. We don't need to talk about. How
Oh, we're
James
above
is-
that. We're above that now. We're better than that now. Breaking news. People are getting mad about white scares. Swear.
Exactly. We're totally above talking about how James Lindsay is in an open marriage with his wife that she didn't want to be in, and so he can fuck his groupies on the world. And his stepdaughter told me all of this, and he's really pissed at his stepdaughter. Then he spread a rumor that I groomed his 28-year-old stepdaughter after she told me this. Yeah, we're above all that useless gossip.
It is so beneath us.
It is beneath us.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you reminded me of that. I was stooping.
Yeah, well, we have to maintain. We take the high road here on this channel, Jennifer. As you know.
Well, we have decorum after
we
all.
have decorum.
There's my $10 word. Everybody enjoy.
Further fueled suspicions, with many asking why the chemicals being released cannot be analyzed more widely. Despite widespread discussion, mainstream scientific and governmental organizations have consistently denied the existence of chemtrails. In response to the public growing concern, the Environmental Protection Agency, the NSA, the Federal Aviation Administration, and the NOAA issued a joint fact sheet explaining contrails as a natural byproduct of jet engine exhaust in cold, humid air.
Okay,
It
hang
seems
on.
to most paying attention, however, that the swift
Go ahead.
I have issues with NOAA, also called NOAA, because they are the ones who buried the inventions to clean the trash out of the oceans. And they buried this research from a college student who found a bacteria that eats oil in oil spills to organically remove it from the ocean. They buried all of it. Because fuck, I'm so tired of them going, we have all these problems, and what you have to do to solve it is eat tofu, bugs, and live in a pod, and don't drive anywhere, and you can't enjoy anything. But here's some more cable and some more internet and some more distractions, but you can't do anything else. And yet real solutions have been brought forth. We talked about the engines that run on water and hydrogen and stuff, and how everything gets buried. They don't want solutions. They want control. This is, I think, the thing that just infuriates me the most about people on the left is they don't see that. They don't see it. And they're just people are bad. No, these agencies and governments are bad. Okay, thank you. I've had my moment. I feel better.
Good.
and coordinated denial was seen not as clarification, but as evidence of a cover-up. This tension has only deepened in the internet age, where searches for chemtrails yield millions of results, the majority of which are articles attempting to debunk the theory. Critics argue that this is evidence of collusion between tech companies and governments to suppress the truth, though tech companies claim they are simply combating misinformation. But the story doesn't end here. In fact, it seems to connect to an even larger and more ominous theory, Project Bluebeam. First proposed by Canadian journalist Sergei Monast in the 1990s, Project Bluebeam describes a covert plan to use advanced technologies to stage a global crisis, one designed to bring about a new world order. According to Monast, the plan involves 4 stages, each more elaborate than the last. The first stage involves undermining existing religious beliefs by fabricating archaeological discoveries that challenge traditional doctrines. Ancient artifacts or texts could be discovered and used to suggest that widely accepted religious histories are false, shaking faiths and preparing humanity for the next step, the introduction of a new universal religion. The second stage involves the use of holographic technology to project images of religious figures or deities into the skies over different regions of the world. These projections would communicate messages to their followers, appearing as the fulfillment of prophecies or divine interventions. Christians might see Jesus, Muslims might see Muhammad, and Hindus might see Krishna, but eventually, all these figures would converge into a single universal deity who claims to unify all faiths under one new religion. The third stage employs electromagnetic wave technology to simulate telepathic communication. Monast claimed that technologies capable of transmitting audio directly into people's minds, so-called voice-to-skull systems, would be used to implant thoughts and commands, creating the illusion of divine communication. The final stage is the most dramatic, the staging of a massive global false flag event. This could take the form of an extraterrestrial invasion, a staged apocalypse, or a divine reckoning. The goal is to create fear and disorientation so intense that humanity willingly submits to a one-world government as the only solution to survival. Chemtrails, some theorists argue, play a critical role in this stage by preparing the atmosphere for large-scale holographic projections or dispersing chemicals that alter human perception, making the illusion more convincing. The whole theory is corroborated by Wernher von Braun, a pivotal figure in rocket technology and space exploration, and is often associated with a narrative involving a staged alien invasion. This connection primarily stems from accounts by Dr. Carol Rosen, who worked with von Braun in the 1970s. Rosen recounted that von Braun warned of a sequence of fabricated threats, ranging from rogue nations to asteroids, culminating in a hoaxed extraterrestrial invasion intended to justify the expansion of military capabilities into space. While von Braun's warnings, as conveyed by Rosen, and the tenets of Project Bluebeam share thematic similarities, particularly the idea of a fabricated alien threat to achieve global control, it's important to note that von Braun himself did not publicly document or endorse the specifics of Project Bluebeam. The connections between his alleged warnings and Monast's theory are primarily drawn from interpretations and extrapolations within conspiracy theory circles. But still, the narrative of a hoaxed alien invasion as a means to consolidate power is a recurring theme. The ultimate goal, though, of Project Bluebeam is to consolidate power under a single centralized authority. National borders would dissolve, and religious and cultural distinctions would be erased. Humanity would be unified under a single digital currency, a universal faith, and constant surveillance by advanced technologies. Fear and manipulation would ensure compliance, as fabricated crises provide justification for authoritarian control. Now, some might consider, besides the darker aspects of this agenda, that this plan would have many benefits. Imagine being able to travel anywhere in the world without need of a passport, to have the whole world working with unified systems, no more war between nations, and never needing to convert money to different currencies. But if all of this was done by a nefarious secret government, then could it really be a good thing? Critics of Project Bluebeam and chemtrail theories argue that they lack evidence and rely on speculation and paranoia. However, for those who believe, these theories represent a warning about the dangers of unchecked technological power and the erosion of personal freedoms. They raise questions about what might be hidden in plain sight and challenge us to stay vigilant in a world where truth is increasingly difficult to discern. Ultimately, it's up to each of us to be strong within our hearts and stand true to the truth, no matter what befalls our species in the future. As always, time will tell. The skies above may hold secrets we are only beginning to uncover. Whether or not these theories are true, they force us to confront the complexities of technology, governance, and the future of human freedom. At last, we come to the final chapter in our conspiracy theory of everything. The point in which everything comes together,
for you.
all of the aspects of our theory weaving into a new fact.
I was thinking, like, he was talking about the advantages of a one world government. And I can kind of see that, like the Federation in Star Trek, you know, it all seems so peaceful and nice. But what did you think about, do you think there could ever be like but there's no benign government. Let's just not fool ourselves. But the whole traveling without passports, well, that'd be nice. But I understand passports have a reason so that you don't just let your criminals travel out and stuff. But I don't know. What do you think about it?
I think that the only way it could work is basically if we developed like a really good solid AI and like basically the AI ran things, honestly, which obviously could go horribly and terribly wrong. But hear me out. Like, how do you think Star Trek actually worked? How, like, AI, if it's implemented correctly, can actually, you know, make sure people have food and make sure things are taken care of and stuff like that. It's kind of like, okay, can a one world government work? Well, who's in fucking charge?
Right.
Who's making decisions?
Yeah.
And like, so it's like, it's kind of the same as everything. It's like, you know, I mean, could a dictatorship work to get rid of all this woke shit? Well, yeah, okay. Like if the right person got put in charge, if the right dictator got put in charge, that right dictator could say, okay, no more of this queer bullshit. Like, no, we're not doing that anymore. But like maybe like they rein in on like, you know, other dictatorial things that maybe aren't so good. So it kind of all depends on what's running it.
That's
and in between, like if I had to choose between a human being and AI. Not AI yet, because AI right now still makes way too many mistakes and is way too kind of like pleasing in what it wants to do. But like, if I have to choose between a robot that can think through every possible scenario in seconds and a human being that is fundamentally flawed and ego-based, I'm going to choose the robot.
Interesting. That did not go the way I thought it would.
Yeah.
I totally didn't think it'd go AI. Wow. Yeah, I don't believe in total control or domination. Like, honestly, it never works out, because even when you have a good king or a good emperor, invariably later or inevitably later on, that same power is going to be given to someone who is nuts and or unhinged, or kids like what's good for me and not for thee, that kind of stuff. But even getting rid of woke stuff, as you say, is a good thing. But not to the people who believe in it. Not saying that they're right.
Well,
or we should
I don't care.
Them,
they don't get to have a fucking say. They're mentally fucking ill, and they've been sucked into a cult, and they need to be told no. Like they need to be told no. There are two genders, and you are whatever the fuck you were born as.
Get the spray bottle out. Shh, no.
Yeah. No.
Stop it. Stop doing that. All of you are great. Yeah. Well, interesting. I don't know. I've thought about one world governments. I think it's a terrible idea because I don't want the world to turn into a melting pot. I love the preservation of culture and our histories and our lore. And I think that's really beautiful. So,
yeah.
Anyway. All right. Thank you. I was just wondering.
I mean, I don't want it to be clear. I'm just saying that could it work in a reality in which AI was implemented correctly? And like, because the biggest concern I have with it is there going to be mass starvation? My standard is very low at this point. Is there going to be mass starvation? Because if the communist wins, there's going to be mass starvation. Like
there always is with communists. Every time.
Well, every single time I go to Whole Foods, I'm reminded of this, because Whole Foods is mainly staffed by communists, which I'm reminded of every time I wear one of my anti-communist t-shirts into Whole Foods. But Whole Foods has a buffet, and sometimes I go to Whole Foods, and sometimes I want to get the Indian chicken that's at the buffet. And like 50% of the time that I'm there, they can't even do the fucking buffet correctly. Like there are boxes strewn all about, the food's not taken care of, there's stuff missing. But there was like a week and a half where they had the Indian entree, but they didn't have rice. And it's like, you fucking retards, are you serious? So
we need the rice. You gotta have the jasmine rice.
Yeah, I like the lemon rice myself.
Ooh,
but
yeah.
You know, I would have literally taken any rice, like any variety. And I'm like, okay, communists, you want to be in charge of the food supply? You need to start with managing the buffet at Whole Foods. Just start with that. And when you guys can properly manage the buffet at Whole Foods and get that in order, then we can talk about you guys being responsible for all of society. Okay?
Well, that's just it. When you don't have any reward for doing a good job, why try harder?
Exactly.
I mean, even
complaining and wanting $25 an hour at Whole Foods, it's like you cannot even stock the buffet correctly.
Even when you train a dog, it's all reward based. You know, and they have to know what behavior is acceptable. This is how you train anybody to grow up and be an adult and productive and helpful. But yeah, no, they just want all we're just gonna all automatically have all the stuff that we want. It'll be perfect, and we'll never have to do things we don't want to do. And I just find that so immature.
Yeah. So if I had to choose between communists that can't run a buffet at Whole Foods and AI, I'm choosing AI. And I like, not that I want that, but I'm just saying that the choice for me is very, very clear.
Framed in that way, I would agree with you.
Fabric of reality, if only we choose to see and interact with it. You see, every conspiracy theory we've discussed so far is nothing more than a reflection of something greater, the holographic demiurge. We began our journey with the demiurge, and now we must return to it, to shatter the old paradigm. We must recognize that the demiurge is not just something that is imposed upon us, this false reality just like the Matrix. but it is a state of consciousness within us. The ancients who spoke of the demiurge did not rail against it physically, for they understood that the powers that be were not the source of the demiurge. They knew that rebelling against the Roman Empire would have no effect at all, just as today, rebelling against world governments or the massive corporations will do us no good but stir up karmic trouble for ourselves. No, the true mystic ancients turned their attention inwards to the mysteries within them and strove for the inner revelation of truth, knowledge, and wisdom within them. They followed the wisdom teachings set down before them, from the writings attributed to Thoth to the ministries of Jesus, in order to shatter the illusion of separation. In truth, the demiurge is within us, a form of duality consciousness, a place of disconnection from ourselves and nature, inflicting upon us the belief that we are separate from one another and subject to all manner of suffering from the world around us. Certainly, this reality feels real, just as real as it was to Thomas Anderson before he met Morpheus. And it is this way for a reason, for there are lessons of duality, lessons of physicality, lessons of love, truth, and authenticity, which we must learn while we are here. This includes stepping outside of the limiting bubble of our own lives and seeing something greater. As we do so, we step into becoming active creators of our own destiny and become shapers of the world as we know it. Yet, humanity...
By the way, Jennifer, sorry,
Yes?
I was reminded of this. Did you see that the New York Times did a profile of Nick Fuentes?
No.
Yes. Young Nicholas has been featured in the New York Times. It's very exciting.
Our baby's growing up.
He's growing up. Here, I'll show you the at least the cover. Look at this. Young Nicholas
how
in the New York Times.
He looks like he's grimacing a little. Smile, Nick. It won't hurt
well,
you.
You know, he has a certain he wants to be a mafia boss and such to maintain. But it was I haven't read the whole article yet, but I was just like, how they frame this, a white nationalist problem for the right. It's like, this is so perfect. I bet Nick is so happy about this.
I mean, they could have said worse things, honestly.
They really could have, but Nicholas is all grown up. He's a deeply influential politician now, or whatever, commentator, and we're very proud of him. And he's so precious. And
yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, he's stepping into the spotlight. Yep.
Aw.
Mm-hmm.
He's so handsome and cute, and one day he's gonna find a nice little Catholic mama.
Yep. We hope he's gonna find a Catholic virgin that will not bother him and not tell him to do anything, and
Yeah, that will cook and clean and wash his feet and bear his babes.
Yep, that's all he needs.
Yep. And keep her
Today,
damn mouth shut.
as we have been for thousands of years, exist within pockets of consciousness, pockets of belief and self-identity. Where 1,000 years ago, we were segmented more physically and culturally, today there is a deeper segmentation mentally and emotionally as we isolate into bubbles of perception based on our search history and the algorithms that decide for us what we see, and propel us each down our own paths of least resistance, rather than toward each other and unity. You might call such things paradigms of belief or existence, paradigms in which people live either in minorities or majorities, where individual and communal belief systems shape the actions that people take, leading to natural outcomes as a result of those beliefs. For example, Christians who identify with Jesus returning soon will live by this belief, and this belief will dictate their actions. But those who believe the earth is flat would behave and communicate differently than if they believed the world was round, often each vehemently attacking the opposing spectrum. Yet, do such things matter when most of us spend our days entrenched in suffering, often taking it out on one another in silent, subconscious ways? If the end goal is unity, free of this duality consciousness, how do we get there? Especially when conspiracy theories of the Great Reset and the implementation of a one-world government are so pervading. Is it truly possible to bring everyone together with truth, love, and authenticity? Or is at least part of humanity doomed to mental enslavement forever.
Yes.
As we've explored so far in great detail, it seems as though mental and emotional manipulation is a factor that we must watch out for. But there are a great many people who are asleep to this idea at all. They struggle through the day to day, but due to their own connections in life, fail to look for anything more. When doctors tell them that medication is the best and only way to treat their symptoms, they take it without asking any questions, and that's the end of the story. When the media tells them to be afraid of the pandemic, they comply, and fear reigns supreme. With this existing paradigm and so many entrenched in it, do we have any hope of truly liberating ourselves in mass? More to the point, are we truly ready for such a change? In 2020, humanity collectively learned a lesson about the nature of quarantine, separating and isolating ourselves from each other for long periods of time. However, the lessons of quarantine go deeper than our physical lives, for we also saw and learned about the layers of quarantine within ourselves, between our egos and our souls, and explored just how much ability we give ourselves to ask questions and go deeper, or just accept things at a surface level. This is the reason we are discussing paradigms, because there are many paradigms out there, people asking questions and people who aren't. People who are listening to more than one source of information, learning and growing, and others who just like to talk, but ultimately take no action in their lives. We may liken it to the biblical parable of the sower and the seed, which says that there are those who hear the divine word of God and those who don't. And even in those who hear it, it sounds good at first, but unless the wisdom is nurtured, the seed dies and they quickly go back to their suffering and their life without spirit. So we can see then, these paradigms go beyond belief systems. They enter into and emerge from the realm of action. The invisible world and the visible world are deeply intertwined. Earlier on, we explored what might happen if humanity inherited advanced, nearly alien technology, and what would happen if we suddenly had limitless power and the freedom to travel the universe. While of course, it's easy to rebel against, say, NASA, who may or may not be withholding the truth at their highest level, it makes no difference if we're not able to look at our own behavior too, and see if we have earned such a gift. Historically, human history is filled with colonization, subjugation, domination, and the enslavement of others, human, animal, and all of nature. There is no question that today, undue prejudice like racism and sexism exists even within the structures of society, and one that often goes undiscussed but is just as significant is speciesism. You may be fascinated to watch the speciesism documentary made by a young man who attempted to prove that animal farming wasn't really all that bad, but ended up discovering...
Jennifer, we're going to have this conversation again after you finish your rope, okay?
Oh,
that while we all believe the Holocaust ended over 70 years ago, the truth is, there is still a Holocaust going on today, and it's found in the concentration camps that we keep animals in. Chickens, cows, pigs, even fish. All of them are subjugated against their will, dominated, terrorized, and killed in mass in order to feed our growing, consumption-focused population.
There was a tipping point when you come out on the other side intellectually. It's crippling. You're immediately confronted with a Holocaust that is occurring everywhere at all times, and everybody you know, your loved ones and people you hate,
I do
everywhere,
not like how our food
they're all participating in it. It's a laughable subject when you bring it up. You know, when your friends and family, when they think it's cute that you've decided, you know,
you're gonna talk about
word of comfort. So I love the Lumerians. I love listening to them, and I love the gal that channels them. And I can't think of her dang name right now, and I can't look over and see her. I have a couple of her books. I can't look over and see her book name on the book title because they're all packed in boxes right now. But maybe someone in the chat knows who I'm talking about. She's been working with Lumerians for a very long time, and during one of her channelings, the entity said that prey animals and food stock animals like cows and chickens and pigs, every animal has a soul, and every soul makes an agreement. And the agreements of these animals is to be food animals. Yeah. So they are fine with their role. I am not fine with how we treat them. I think they should be treated with respect and love and care. And that's why I don't like giant mega farms and giant mega herds of cattle. If one of them gets sick, they have to kill thousands of cows now, or thousands of chickens. And it's why they had to turn it over to giant mega anything. And the same thing goes for crops of corn and wheat. Healthier crops can be contained in smaller areas, smaller farms, more families owning businesses, more families providing food and care. And if one cow gets sick, you only have to kill, 100 instead of 100,000, so I wish we could treat them with more love and respect and reverence. That would make me a lot happier. If I was queen, I would definitely start working on micro farms, smaller family farms, get rid of these giant food megacorps that ruin everything, use pesticides and all this shit, and friggin' Monsanto to boot. Bah. There.
I agree.
Yay.
That you've taken you've decided to take an interest in the animal issue, and how I
don't think PETA does any good either.
No,
that you've lived up until that point when you've woken up and as inexcusable.
Of course, the moment this conversation emerges, watch as some people with certain paradigms of belief will instantly rail against it, for it is assumed immediately that this message is simply some sort of political or pretentious advocation for veganism. And while for this reason many turn to veganism, ask any Native American only a few hundred years ago who rode across the plains in groups hunting buffalo, and you will find that there are natural ways of hunting that encourage freedom for ourselves and complete respect for nature. In the paradigm of those native people, they were a part of the spirit of the land as much as the animals were. They shared space with nature, and as such, their paradigm of belief guided their actions into ways of being that were natural, sacred, and pure. Even with the technology of their time, they understood better their impact on the world around them with more clarity than many can in this later era today. At the time of this video's creation, modern animal farming is responsible for a tremendous body of disease and suffering, and the beliefs at the heart of the industry are that humans have the right to subjugate other species because we're bigger, smarter, and more capable. These beliefs are so deeply rooted in the collective unconscious that to shift these ideas en masse, it may take something big to uproot the paradigm. Even if we take a more biblical approach and observe that in Genesis, God gave humans dominion over the earth and its inhabitants, are we not still responsible to govern this world with grace, respect, and honor? We are the earth's keepers, not captors. But times have changed, and the technology of but a few hundred years ago has been quickly replaced by far superior tech. And what would happen if tomorrow we suddenly gained access to the power that we discussed? Limitless energy, free to travel the universe as we desired. With the existing paradigm of collective consciousness, it may turn out the exact same way as any Iron Man movie, or Avengers, or superhero film. What happens when the villain gets the arc reactor, or the Infinity Stones? It's nearly the same thing that misguided humans have done to each other and animals for millennia. They take what they want and care not of the consequences. And what would stop humanity from doing the same today? If our deep-rooted speciesism is not addressed, then what happens when humanity encounters an alien species we've never before seen? Unless they are supremely advanced and can destroy us with the flick of a wrist, but choose not to, which would be very humbling, what's to stop us from imposing our will upon them? In some ways, this question is a real representation of our world today. The pace at which technology has advanced and changed our lives may have outpaced our ability to evolve the wisdom appropriate for such power. Teenage girls' mental health is at an all-time low thanks to the glamification and addictive aspects of social media. Any resource-hungry company who can manage it monitors and invades our privacy. We have gained the ability to heat the earth, demolish rainforests, and shape the land perhaps more quickly than we can learn what the consequences of such power may be. Materially, we may be advanced, but spiritually, we have a lot of catching up to do. Speaking to this emerging paradigm, in some schools of geology, archaeology, and natural sciences, a new epoch of geological time has been proposed. As you may have seen in the Sumerian epic, the Pleistocene was followed by the Holocene, beginning around 11,650 years ago before today, which is the current period we are in now. However, increasing numbers of voices have argued that humanity's impact on the environment and our ability to alter the ecosystem of our world calls for us to be in a new epoch. This is known as the Anthropocene debate and argues that the natural world has become so affected by humans that it warrants a redefinition of our place in time. As of July of 2020, the International Union of Geological Sciences hasn't officially approved the term, but various start dates has been proposed for when this new paradigm of existence began, ranging from the beginning of the agricultural revolution all the way to 1945, when the fallout from the first atomic bomb altered the environment on a massive scale. Even Dr. Stephen Greer describes that many of the extraterrestrial species aren't concerned with violence at all, but rather are genuinely concerned with our attachment to violence as a species. It's not hard to envision this future where humanity has spread itself throughout the galaxy, just like in Star Wars, subjugating and controlling populations, trade, resources, and whole worlds, all in the pursuit of profit, where Emperor Palpatine represents the darkest, vile, and most greedy parts of that which is within us, and where Luke and the Jedi, then, are a reflection of our hopes, purity, and dreams in our hearts. But is this a reality that we want to create? One where we spread throughout the galaxy, subjugating those who are less further along on their evolutionary path? Perhaps the ultimate conspiracy, then, for this great conspiracy theory of everything, is this question: could it be possible that all of this subjugation that we have today, the theories of human mental and emotional enslavement, while awful and terrible, is a necessary evil in order to collectively teach humanity of who we truly are and prevent us from leaving this world until we can do so responsibly? It's a strange thought, flipping the conspiracies on their head, where the Illuminati, whoever they are, could at the highest level, higher still than the elite with their pedophile rings, which are still a part of the Matrix of course, be simply watching people experiencing their own darkness, making sure that we do not gain access to wield power we are not ready for? After all, the word Illuminati essentially means enlightened ones. But then again, even this is just another paradigm of belief, and in this game of life, you choose your own paradigm. We're not suggesting this is true either way, but it is something to be mindful of, as there are a great many paradoxes in existence, and we must be free to explore all of them where they lead us. And here at last we come to the heart of our conspiracy theory of everything. And this states that alongside technological progress to give us our material wealth, we must develop spiritual technology within our own bodies, which will aid us in navigating our ever-changing physical world. Only then may we truly ever advance to the next stage.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, the grand finale.
Grand finale.
Yes.
Our liberation and transcendence truly happens through revelation. The word itself actually stems from the meaning disclosure of information to man by a divine or supernatural agency,
Yeah, it really will
as well
take
as
aliens.
unveiling or
think so.
uncovering of
Like,
sorts.
legitimately.
As we've seen so far, humanity is undergoing an exponential increase in veils being lifted, and we are seeing life being stirred up and changed like never before. One analogy we might use here is as if humanity has been in the dark for so long, isolated by socioeconomic and cultural divides, and yet with modern technology, it would seem as though the lights are collectively turning on. But now, there is so much light, all at once, that it is blinding. And despite our access to so much information today, we are still just as blind as we ever were. That is, while we allow time for our eyes to adjust. Yet the root of revelation doesn't just speak to veils lifted, but our own revelation from divine origin. Belief systems and ideologies are challenged in mass as new information comes out that asks us to reassess our paradigms of identity. As this happens, those who are willing to explore new ideas grow, and those who rail against anything new only burrow deeper into their own existing paradigm. Even in the new world we are creating, there are bound to be different paradigms that people live within. We must remember that some people are filled with hate, negativity, and suffering, all of which are descending from their own pain, which inhibits their higher consciousness and keeps them rooted in a lower vibration. This does not mean that they are bad people, for the only true remedy is compassion. No matter how far disconnected from their soul someone may be, they can always come back to the light. However, the only way for this to take place is if they genuinely want to. For unless someone seeks their own salvation, they will never end up finding it. Thus, it doesn't matter if someone spends their time living in a VR reality for years, abuses their bodies, or even in some future reality travels throughout the universe. All paths through life can be taken, but only one path leads to the liberation of the soul. This is the path within. May this be a lesson for all of us too, for if we are afraid of the darkness within us and others, and we attempt to quell it by attacking it with anger and hate, then we lessen our own vibration and reduce ourselves to the same state of consciousness as that which we are fighting against. Evil begets evil, and in the words of a wise Jedi Master, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. Hence, the true solution to the salvation of humanity, or the reconnection of our souls as we discussed so long ago, is through genuine and authentic compassion. By elevating our own consciousness to such a degree that our light radiates to those around us, and we become instruments of sacred transformative change by the goodness that we embody. And while this may sound to some like spiritual woo, the discoveries around this today have the power to radically change everything we think we know about both science and religion. These discoveries speak to a deeper, basic, and more intrinsic understanding about the nature of who we are and our place in the cosmos, as well as the abilities that we have and may inherit. Speaking to the nature of consciousness itself, these discoveries are so paradigm-shattering that life on Earth as we know it will never be the same once the knowledge becomes commonplace among the people.
No, this is not true. This is a conservative bullshit lie. I've taken DMT. You do not go to the dark side. That is absolutely not real. I've done ayahuasca like half a dozen times. You don't go to the dark side then either. It's a beautiful experience. It's all about your intention. Please do not spread Christian bullshit. Like, come on.
Well, and keep in mind that the trip is the trip is founded in the heart of the tripper, or the trippee. So like if you're having issues, the trip may show those to you, and people say, oh, I saw my own dark side, which could be a really good thing. Maybe that's what you needed.
But it's not going to the dark side. You're seeing an aspect of yourself,
right? But not if you don't understand it. Like if you're a complete noob and you have no idea about, I'm just going to trip something and try it out. You could have a bad trip. You totally could. It doesn't mean that that's what it's for or does for everybody. It is so individual.
Of the Earth. That is, if it's ever allowed to get there. For a long time, our perception of spirituality has been governed by the religions of the world, and our perception of the universe and the nature of life has been governed by science. Movies like Zeitgeist outline and identify ways in which the religious institutions have monopolized people in a myriad of ways, while others today, such as Dr. Rupert Sheldrake's The Science Delusion, demonstrates how science has been used to shepherd people into a mindset, keeping us locked into a paradigm of physicality and nothing more. Further, these two voices of science and religion have been—
Yeah, well, we're not Christians, and we reject Christianity, and you're allowed to be a Christian, but do not bring that Christian bullshit into our spiritual show. This is not this is like if we came into your church and started talking about tarot cards and started doing readings, okay? It's not considerate and it's not welcome. I'm laying down the fucking law with the Christians.
I do think that Christianity is a form of spirituality, because those who understand spirituality will practice it no matter what religion they're a part of. But that depends on the person, not the church.
Yeah, and I think that Christians I think that Christianity is a made-up religion, and it keeps you separated from God, and it keeps you fearful, and whatever. If you wanna have a low-level religion, that's entirely up to you. Whatever, everyone has a different journey.
Well, I think Golden Rule's been with us for a long time. He knows our shtick, so
I don't know that he has been here for a long time. I don't know that.
Well, not a long time, but I've seen him before. I'm pretty sure.
Jennifer, I still have people who follow me and have followed me for years that like I had some guy, and I know he meant well, but like I had some guy the other day, he was trying to defend me, but he was like, Karlyn is an atheist. I'm like, how the fuck did you get that idea? Like, literally, I have like literally never said I was an atheist. I hate atheists. I find no offense, atheists, but I find you to be just as annoying as Christians are. With love, you're just as annoying as fucking Christians are. And I was like, so no, I don't actually think people do.
I think atheism.
Okay, then get the fuck out of my spirituality show. You are in my chat on my spirituality show. In fact, I'm putting you in a timeout. Stop talking.
Karlyn, calm down.
No, this is what Christians do. I don't care. I am a Christian. We're going to talk about Christianity. No, this is my fucking show.
I think he was just saying, I don't care what you believe. That's why I'm here. I'm not so hung up on Christianity to like sit here and judge you. He's not causing shit.
Well, I mean, maybe you're reading it. I'm reading it very differently, but that's okay. That's okay. I didn't permanently ban him. He can chat again in 5 fucking minutes. He can ask Jesus to grace him with patience.
Oh my God. Come back, Goldie. It's okay, honey.
At odds for a very long time, sharply criticizing one another, or otherwise outright refusing to acknowledge each different perspective, or their many merits and wisdoms that they bring forth. Despite this, today new revelations about the nature of consciousness stand to shatter the illusion of separateness, destroy the dogma we've clung to for so long, and give us a foundational blueprint to create a new world for ourselves. Truly, it's how we can create heaven on earth. All that's required is our complete participation. One example of this is found in the work of Dr. Bruce Lipton with The Biology of Belief, which explains with profound scientific logic that our beliefs and self-identity are a product of our environment, and that as we think it, so shall we become. His work describes that if we spend our lives believing that my family had a hereditary disease, so I'll get it too, you are consciously and subconsciously programming your body with signals that will facilitate you creating that outcome. And of course, this
not all Christians suck. I mean, we appreciate you, Tammy.
They do not, and most, like all the ones that are usual viewers that we have are fabulous. That's why I'm a big fan of blame the leadership, not the people.
I kind of make the assumption that if you watch me for a while, I'm going to shit on Christians, I'm going to shit on conservatives, and you've gotten to a place where you don't take it personally, because it's like, it's the people that take it personally that are the worst. It's like, it's like, I want to be like, I don't know who the fuck you are. You are on the other side of the computer. I cannot see you. And I also feel like good Christians should understand that there are a lot of retards in their religion, and they are, those retards usually tend to be very loud, and that's who we judge you by, Christians.
As a pagan, I understand, because most of pagans are very liberal, purple hair, screaming. Yeah.
Let's not even get started on the fucking woke leftist corruption of woo.
Oh my God.
They've ruined it. And we know this. We know this. Okay. Yeah. So if you start making fun of crystals and tarot cards and like, like all this bullshit. We get it and we don't take it personally.
Yeah, exactly. But I think if someone says I'm a Christian, that's okay to say that. We don't have, I don't think they're proselytized. They're just say, hey, I'm a Christian and I'm cool with what's happening here. And that's cool with me. I like that. At least, hey, thanks for letting us know. That's cool. If you obviously so far you haven't been offended enough to leave so far, so we're cool. You know,
no, I feel like Christians though, they have a very specific tone when they're feeling victimized and they want to proselytize. And I'm a Christian. I don't care what anyone says. I am a Christian and Christ is King and baby. And it's like it's like a very specific tone and it's a very specific energy that like I can identify this a mile away. I know when I'm about to be damned to hell for something, and it's like it's like I have one show a week where I get to talk about like this sort of stuff, okay?
Yeah.
This is not Christian happy fun time.
No, go start your own channel for that kind of thing. And there are hundreds out there. Go enjoy it. This is a minority group, guys. So, but I mean, yeah, anybody who comes in with Christ as King, I'm like, Artemis is goddess, and you know, so
like
get the fuck out. Yeah, it's like I don't want to be preached at.
This is a no proselytization zone. I'm doing the cross as an X for no fucking proselytization.
I'm down with people say, hey, I'm a Buddhist, I'm, you know, or whatever they want to say. That doesn't bother me at all. So, I mean, maybe that's what it was, but I understand being twitchy about it very much. I do. Yes.
Belief and others can come from our parents and family or the environments that we expose ourselves to. When we look at all of our childhood programming together, we find today a mashup of countless different media programs and entertainment, news stories, passed down rhetoric and ideas that we received from friends and others around us. Who we are today was shaped by the world, and while many of the lessons that we received growing up were good and valid, many others were simply long-held beliefs that have been passed down for generations, yet may not hold our highest interest at heart. These beliefs shaped our perspective of the world, and in that, how we behave and act, which leads us to create our destinies. As it would seem, many of the belief systems we hold on to disempower ourselves from being able to live our lives to the fullest. Further, many of the largest industries today are built upon previous paradigms, and so their continued growth means the limiting of this new understanding. For example, we return here to the pharmaceutical industry. If you help someone cure their depression, it's very difficult to justify charging them thousands of dollars a year for a prescription. It is far easier and much more lucrative that their depression or illness will be with them for a very long, long time. We must understand that the environment has played a very significant role in the creation of our collective reality, even from the moment that we were conceived and all of the experience that we've had since birth. And while birth defects do exist, Bruce's research says that 95% of people have perfectly fine DNA and can change how their genes are expressing themselves if they will it so. For some, this may be easier than it is for others, but it's very empowering research nonetheless. If we can change the signals our bodies are receiving, the thoughts and feelings we tell ourselves and receive from others, the places we live, the music we listen to, the food that we eat, the entertainment we watch, all of these aspects will play a role in reshaping our lives by influencing us from surface to very deep levels. As Bruce's work suggests, it doesn't matter what ails you. If you can address the root cause and provide yourself with a stimulus of a higher vibration, there is nothing that you cannot heal. To add even more weight to the conversation of science and spirituality finding union, as we go back in time to explore the practices of our ancient world, we find the roots of spirituality steeped in mysticism. To many cultures, such as the ancient Egyptians, Greeks, Indians, Native American shamans, and other Aborigine tribes, we find a great body of wisdom concerned with mystical and altered states of consciousness, as well as the use of psychedelic plant medicine. Today, and thanks to some amazing scientific pioneers, such as Dr. Rick Strassman, and even the darker experiments we've explored already concerning psychedelics, these substances are powerful tools that can be used in a myriad of ways. The stories of the Montauk experiment say that people in the labs had their psychic abilities enhanced to the point where they could materialize objects out of thin air, but at the cost of their emotional and mental stability. This further alludes to the theories put forth by psychedelic scientists who discuss and theorize that there may be other dimensions or realms of existence that seem to exist all around us, which psychedelics give us access to not just to visualize, but interact with, which enhance our own psychic abilities. It is herein we find a powerful surge of revelation that pours through concerning science and religion, for it is not entirely uncommon for a number of beings to visit you during your journeys, including meeting ascended masters such as Thoth, Jesus, or Buddha, magical beings such as elves or dragons, or even aliens of a wide variety of kinds. It's almost as if to suggest that while material science has focused on understanding the workings of the third dimension, religions of the world have more focus around interacting with these higher realms and the beings who inhabit them. Psychedelics, then, while not the only method of communication and interaction with higher dimensions, do seem to be a potent tool for bridging our consciousness with higher worlds and connecting the gap between the material and the immaterial. And this is only one of several uses of
Okay,
psychedelics.
Karlyn, I think he
for just
redeemed
as much
himself.
as they may expand our
fine.
sensory awareness outside of us into other planes of existence, so
okay,
too
we're
do
back.
they expand our awareness inside of us, bringing to light and visualizing the subconscious and unconscious aspects of ourselves, which may be used in shifting and restructuring our inner frame of being. As the Institute of Noetic Sciences is proving today, along with what was put forth by Dr. Bruce Lipton, our consciousness and intention steers our reality, steers our focus and therefore our actions. As it relates to sacred ceremonies, treating it as a holy and sacred experience would yield entirely different experiences than treating it as a party drug. And so while deep healing can happen with plant medicine, that doesn't mean that it will happen.
True.
And ultimately, it comes down to you.
Yep.
Today, a
That's what I was
remarkable
saying
number of
earlier.
testimonials have been shared from those who have participated in these plant medicine ceremonies, especially when under the care of a true shaman. These kinds of ceremonies provide a sacred space for purging darkness, revealing profound truth, finding healing and forgiveness, and the merging of the soul. But it's not just ayahuasca, for even psilocybin mushrooms are showing tremendous success rates in clinical trials for helping people cure their depression, anxiety, or addiction to smoking, drinking, and other substance abuses, far above any other conventional methods for treating the same things. This is something that we must learn to take seriously, but we also must approach it with caution. Just as much as there are genuine shamans and amazing pure-hearted healing centers, there are also plant medicine charlatans who will attempt to use these vulnerable states that the psychedelic states facilitates and use them for malicious or self-centered purposes. This can happen when the intention of the space or the shamans are not fully.
No, I did not see the fucking elves when I did DM. I did not. I've never seen the elves, and I mean, some people see the elves. I didn't see the elves, so and it wasn't any less valid of an experience. Okay, I felt God's pure love radiating down on me. That's enough. I didn't need no fucking elves.
I've never heard about clockwork elves, but now I'm intrigued.
No, it's this whole idea that if you don't see the elves, it's not a real kind of like experience.
Oh God, I
It's like-
got this.
it's like, no,
No,
we're not-
I
we're
had
not-
the real trip. You didn't
Yeah,
have the real
yeah,
trip.
we're not purity spiraling over
Oh my
psychedelic
God,
like
stop
plant
it.
medicine healing. Come
Why
on.
does everybody have to be so elitist? Ah.
in alignment with the soul, nor in authenticity or integrity. For this reason, we personally at Spirit Science will only recommend healing centers that we have been to and verified their quality, and we highly recommend
I wanna
watching
go
our
to a
YouTube
ceremony.
movie,
I need to go
Are
to a
Miracles
ceremony
Real?
so
The Secret
bad.
Mysteries of Ayahuasca, if you
Yeah.
haven't seen it already. Set, setting, and substance are all important when it comes to plant medicine healing, and often just doing something local in a city with untrained shamans or just going with the cheapest option available
Not a
can
good
do
idea.
more damage than
Yep.
good.
Yeah.
Someone who might truly benefit from a ceremony could all the same have a psychotic breakdown if they have too much in an improper environment or with
True.
shamans who are unfit to deal with the
Never
depth of
dabble.
psychic energy
No.
that is
Gotta
released
take it
in the
seriously.
ceremony. And to that end, this very well may be one of the aspects of psychedelics that we as a species will have to grapple
You know,
with.
I just had a
For
an
their
epiphany, I
return to
think.
our lives in a
What?
You know how with magic and spells and all that kind of stuff, and I always tell people don't dabble, because some little tart somewhere is going to be like, I'm just going to do a love spell, baby, or a
Oh
money
yeah,
spell.
don't do that shit. No love
No.
spells ever. No.
No, always bad. But I think the reason is because, and I don't, and again, I forgive me for harping on Christians again. I can't help myself, but it is. I think this is true with love, that Christianity is so fluffy bunny in ways that there are no real spiritual consequences unless you get into like possessions and demons and like that kind of thing. But that is so freaking rare, and most of it is exaggerated anyway by the Catholic Church. But I think that so much of it is just pray and go to church and be happy and with God and go with God and let God go and whatever, all the stuff. And I think that they look at other spiritualities just as carelessly. And
Yep.
there are things that I don't believe that, because I was a Christian, guys. I'm not judging. Like, I was this person. We were not taught that anything spiritual was serious or had any kind of magnitude. It was all about God way out cosmically somewhere, wherever heaven is, etherically unreachable, and Jesus too, and all the angels, and you could pray for them, with them. You could kind of to them. You could sort of occasionally feel their presence. Sometimes you felt their guidance, and yeah, it was pretty awesome and momentous. But there is no Christian magic. There's nothing that
Right.
allows you to take power in the energies of your life. And when you get into spiritual paths that do that, you can't treat it like you're praying to an imaginary, etherical, crazy cosmic force that you like you're like, oh, I'm sure he's there. But it's still very vague and amalgamous, so is that the right word? Well, anyway, but so when you're dealing with actual forces, if you're going to fuck with someone else's religion and someone else's spirituality, you need to learn about it first before you start messing with things. You're going to hurt yourself, somebody else. Why are my doors slamming at 3 a.m? Because you don't know what you're dealing with. Christianity doesn't prepare you for the spiritual realm and the responsibility and consequences that go with actually working with energy and magic. So that's my soapbox moment.
I could not agree with that rant more, Jennifer. But no, seriously, I might seem like lax about like when I'm talking about like doing ceremonies. I took ceremonies very seriously. Every single time I took a ceremony, I prepared for weeks, literally for weeks for those ceremonies. Like, you have to eat certain types of foods, you have to
special
dress
diet,
certain types of way, you have to meditate. You're not allowed to have a fucking orgasm because the sexual energy, I swear to God, this is part of the preparation. The sexual energy competes with the ayahuasca energy, and so it's overpowering to it.
What?
I mean, you can have an organ. Like, it's not like you can't, but like, if you really want like the true like preparation, that is part of it, for real.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. Woo!
Yeah, real. So you take it seriously because it's not a gentle endeavor.
No, it's not. And that's why I don't like when people say, can you just give me a love spell? Can you just give me a money spell? Can you just give me a job spell? No, I can't give you
not
anything.
How that works.
You are not qualified. If you don't know one, if you don't, first of all, have the sense to look it up on your own. But if you've come to a priestess or a witch, such as myself, then I will guide you and you will do exactly as I say. Because if you deviate, you're going to fuck it up. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that to just like I'm the right all-ending voice of.
Well, you're the high priestess, and they're the one that doesn't know what's going on. So maybe they're like, it's not like if a Christian is asking a priest for advice, there's a reason they're a priest, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with this. There's a hierarchy. Like, there's not a hierarchy, but there is a hierarchy.
Yeah, there is. Well, priests are the wise men of their people. and I am the wise woman of my people. And I have done spells for a couple of community members who have asked them, and I've walked them through it. I wrote it out. I said, follow this exactly, do this exactly. And I talked about the frame of mind you should be in, because there's nothing wrong with a muggle doing a spell. What's wrong is if they just think, oh, I'm just going to do this on my own and I don't need to ask for help. Please counsel someone who knows what they're doing. I mean, it's like trying to go do an exorcism and you don't even believe in demons.
Like you saw The Exorcist and now you can do an exorcism by taking.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. So just don't insult my faith by trying and just doing it on your own. Like, doesn't matter.
This is why I just don't mess around with like true magic and like spell stuff. Like I did that binding and freezing.
But you ran
spell,
it past me.
I
thought it was well done.
Like I looked it up. I actually thought that through. I got the approval of a witch over it. But like I'm not gonna generally do anything more than that, because it's just like I first of all, I don't want to be consulting Jennifer all the time when I'm trying to cast a spell over a second. Secondly, I think I can just manifest it anyway, and it's just a matter of changing my
You've
energy,
had some training and experience.
Yeah.
So it's but if you need high priestess help, energy counseling, I am here. And
like if I have a boy on the internet threatening to make my life miserable, and we need to nip that situation in the bud. But like generally speaking. Anyway.
Meaningful way, just as the ancient mystics practiced so long ago, comes with the revelation of a deeper psychic connection with one another. This notion alone may bring with it a great deal of chaos as we come to recognize that our thoughts and feelings are not isolated within us, but extend beyond us in a field and connect with others in an intimate way. This awareness will ultimately bring us together, but the fear of it will also drive many to violently oppose it and deny its existence. One arcane piece of wisdom that may further add weight to this notion is that change is a universal constant. Yet our society and collective egos are often built upon a long-lasting sense of permanence. We often avoid change if we can, and this leads to holding on to things for longer than we ought to, which of course creates more suffering in the process. For those who embrace these mystical states, who explore the nature of higher realms, whether through plant medicine, meditation, lucid dreaming, or through other spiritual practices, a new paradigm begins to emerge, and in this world, true transcendence becomes possible, and the changes that are coming over the following decades will be much easier than they may be otherwise. This has to be a personal choice for each of us, as many will choose to fight for the old paradigm, and the transition to the new may be even more chaotic and uncomfortable for those who do. And just as the scientific paradigms go through profound changes, revealing an even more connected understanding of reality, so too will the world's religions be forced to transform. If people en masse begin experiencing the ascended master avatars together in these higher worlds, then religious separation must fall away, as the many dogmas of the world too break down, revealing a much more universal truth, true unity consciousness, and the demiurgic state of being can no longer survive within our bodies and minds. We discover that we truly are made in the image of the Creator, meaning that the spiritual essence, call it God, Source, Spirit, or even Sophia if you prefer, is a creative essence, and this same power moves through us too. We are creators in our own right. All that has been created so far in our world is a result of our thoughts, feelings, and labor, and just as we have created a mass disconnection, so too can we create connection, unity, and love. And yet, this is still not the end in the birthing process of the new paradigm. For if we choose to embrace the belief of it, we may just allow ourselves to experience ascension. If we look back into ancient history, there are stories told about something so much greater in store for us, the freeing of earthbound limitations that keep us tethered to this plane of being. The concept of ascension itself mostly came from the stories of Jesus, as he rose to heaven after his resurrection, ascending to a higher plane. But we also see it spanning back through Greek, Indian, and even Egyptian mythology, which told stories of beings who transformed into deities through their striving for wisdom. The tales of the Greek Hermes Trismegistus are especially prominent here, as well as what is written in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. According to what is told of Hermes, he was a man who mastered the 3 parts of the wisdom that makes up the whole universe, and in doing so transformed himself into a god. These 3 parts are as follows: alchemy, the union of matter and energies from one state into another; astrology, the understanding of the cosmic cycles and how time and space bend and flow from state to state around us; and theurgy, the understanding of spiritual practice, including magical rituals and the invocation of the divine powers around and through us to produce lasting change in this world and the next. In the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, who is also often equated as the same being as Hermes, it tells a story about how upon ancient Atlantis, long before the fall of consciousness, a man named Chiketet Aralek Vomalites sought after cosmic wisdom, and made this the focus of his life and his devotion. And as a result of his efforts, putting all other earthly pleasures beside him, he found his way into sacred spaces unavailable to the masses deep within the earth, and in doing so became a god, a master of time and space, free to move bodily between dimensions as well as through time. In these writings, Thoth, mirroring the words of Jesus, tells us that we too may follow in these pathways, and may also attain to these levels of consciousness if we should so desire. And from these kinds of stories, we must ask ourselves, could it truly be possible to master our bodies, our minds, and our consciousness to such a degree that we could break free from not only the limits of our human world, but even the bonds of time, space, and gravity? What if through our consciousness we could perform feats and miracles that rivaled the ascended masters of the past? Stories of Jesus say that he could walk on water, heal the sick, raise the dead, and after he himself returned from the dead, he lifted his body into the air and disappeared into heaven. How might we explain this scientifically with our new understanding of consciousness? Perhaps with enough conscious presence within the body, and with a strong enough energetic field or light body, we could begin to learn how to control the forces of nature. In science today, we know them as the strong force, the weak force, the electromagnetic force, and gravity. The strong force binds the atomic nucleus. The weak force controls radioactive decay. The electromagnetic force binds molecules together, and gravity binds bulk matter. Out of these 4, gravity is the least understood, having seemingly negligible effects on molecules or atoms due to their mass. Being a curvature in space-time, it isn't like the other forces, as it appears to be one of the fundamental guiding aspects of our reality. The force of gravity is somewhat of an illusion though, as current theories state that matter tells space-time how to curve, and space-time tells matter how to move. Then again, Nikola Tesla fundamentally disagreed that space was curved, and beheld different theories of gravity which are still contested today, since gravity is not well understood. The level of mastery we would require to overcome these forces, however, would be outstanding. Consider, to move your physical body into another dimension, or even through the dimension of time, would require that you have such an incredible amount of conscious presence flowing through each and every atom of your body, and even understand how these forces apply themselves to your body in order to move your form from one state to another without losing limbs, organs, or even just becoming lost in time forever. On one hand, this may be possible with enough technological know-how, yet on the other hand, true transcendent liberation may only come through utilizing our biological technology that we have been given. With spiritual devotion, it is likely that the first aspect we would learn to manipulate would be gravity, giving us the ability to levitate and move our bodies in 3 dimensions through space by understanding and warping it around us.
We can fly.
Then, greater
Those are
levels
like-
of mastery
that's from a
will
movie.
enable us control over the electromagnetic force, meaning our molecules. This may give us power to change how our bodies appear,
X-Men.
and potentially even support our body's renewal long past what we would normally consider possible. This may be the secret to physical immortality. After that, we could learn to consciously play with our atoms, which would support us in transforming our bodies and potentially other objects at will. Is this what Thoth described when he said he was free to move through time and space? Or could it be what was said about the ancient Lemurians and how they were able to change their bodies at will? As we master the forces of nature, especially understanding the forces at a subatomic level, we may also enable ourselves to become quantumly entangled through time and space. We may learn how to physically time travel or move into other dimensions of reality.
Time isn't real.
We can travel throughout the universe and search for new planets and other species to connect with. As we explored previously, often stories of profound DMT experiences, people describe arriving in elaborate geometric cities
Yeah,
and
I did
meeting
that.
beings of light.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
While
I did that.
psychedelics can sometimes
What
give
did
us
it
a
look like?
glimpse of seeing these
I didn't
worlds
get a clear
temporarily,
visual, but
with a
like,
high-
I definitely flew up into the sky and I passed all sorts of beings and I was going up and I got to like some sort of like place where it stopped and slowed down and there were definitely like geometric shapes and everything and then I woke up. That was
Was
it.
that DMT?
That was DMT. Yeah.
That's the thing about DMT is it's really short.
It's so
super
short,
quick.
but it feels longer when you're in it, but it's super 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 short. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
enough level of mastery over the forces of nature, it may be possible to travel there bodily. What's especially curious about this entire theory, however, is that it seems to depend entirely upon our own belief systems as to whether it becomes possible. And yet, this is self-evident by nearly all of our technological evolution today, and the speed at which we may attain these levels also depends entirely on us. Think about it. If nobody ever had any interest in building a car, or collectively we didn't believe that an automobile was even possible, then we would all still be riding horses right now. There was a time in mass when nobody believed it would be possible to ever set foot on the moon, until enough stories, like the writings of Jules Verne, inspired enough imaginations, and suddenly this once impossibility became a collective dream, and then transformed into an actual ambition. But had those books never been written, and the dreams never believed or considered, we certainly wouldn't have rockets going up and down into the atmosphere on a regular basis. Therefore, this process of ascension may take no time at all, or it may take thousands of years for us to attain this level of mastery. It really depends on us and our desire to reach into this kind of higher reality. For many, this future feels out of reach without significant help, as nearly all of us are lost to some degree within the demiurge, doing our best within the circumstances that have befallen us in life, and the amount of healing work and spiritual discipline that is required to be done is tremendous. Further, not all souls are willing to embrace this information, for it is an entirely new paradigm of belief that conflicts with their existing one, and thus it is far easier and far safer to not consider anything new. And that's the ultimate caveat here. Just as we explored before, if you want to believe a belief system that doesn't agree with the majority of the world, such as the Earth being flat or even hollow,
I'll be right back.
either way,
Cool.
your belief system will inform your actions, and this dictates the quality of your life. And then we have to ask the question, if someone believed in something that was completely untrue, but this person had a happier life, would we find the argument that this belief, even if untrue, was a good one to hold? Asked in a simpler way, is it better to be right or to be happy or fulfilled? It seems in the end, this is something for each of us to decide. For while so many look to these conspiracy theories with fear of the influence of control imposed upon them, does that not also indicate that their beliefs limit what they are capable of doing based on the control systems that they believe are there? However, if at the highest level of creative powers behind all things in the universe is truly benevolent, as nearly every spirituality of the world has purported since the dawn of man, then that would also indicate that the deep state and all the negative powers that be are also a part of the divine order, even necessary for us for some reason. Perhaps in learning the lessons of who we are on our great journey of discovery as humans. These conspiracy theories, while certainly dark and often terrible, could even be a fundamental necessity in order for ascension to take place one day in the future. While for some, the ascension paradigm resonates true and certain, for others, there is doubt and skepticism, fear and loathing. And certainly, it is for each of us to find our own truth and to embrace all that life has to offer with open hearts and minds. What happens if you embrace the ascension path, but at the end of your life, you still cannot fly? Does that make you wrong? Or does that simply mean that you have more work to do on your soul path before you can get there? We may also be reminded of the legendary 4-minute mile, in which for as long as history can tell, humanity believed it was impossible to run a mile in only 4 minutes. That is, until 1954, when Roger Bannister completed the run in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. Then, like explosions going off around the world, the 4-minute mile was broken, again and again and again. As the belief system that it was impossible was shattered, suddenly a new paradigm was entered, and now running 4-minute miles are commonplace. What this shows us, it would only take one person publicly demonstrating that they can levitate their body, revealing this gift to the world, that would trigger the ultimate of revelations. Tremendous chaos, most likely, as belief systems and paradigms shifted all over the world, and we begin to emerge into a new, ascended reality. Then again, as we've seen time and time again, there are countless ways in which ideas like this are covered up, laughed at, insulted, or avoided altogether. As we've seen, the mainstream world likes to focus on specific things at specific times and facilitate micro and mass action through everything from fear to censorship. If there's one thing we've learned from this whole conspiracy theory of everything, is that this information is out there, but it's also not the most important thing to most people. But as long as the mainstream dictates the global conversation, and spirituality is hidden and veiled within entertainment as pure fiction, then perhaps these future transcendent realities will always be just out of our reach, as it's up to each of us to make personal decisions that steer us towards what we want, and realize that on the path up the mountain of transcendence lies an ever-increasing mountain of traps. The demiurge is very tricky, and it won't let go unless you shine your light bright enough to free yourself from the veil of the night. For the nature of the demiurge is to steer us further into the illusions, and it's our journey to work our way out. But hey, all of this, it's just a theory, a conspiracy theory of everything.
All right.
And you know what? The truth is, this is one of our goals that we hold for ourselves within our very own mystery school, which was established to help facilitate the evolution of consciousness for those who truly want to do the work and go the distance. Each and every day, this growing community is actively discussing
well, I mean,
and working
wouldn't
towards
you?
the...
You do.
Fucking hell. ending in a fucking commercial. I didn't create a 3.5-hour epic just to be like, and now you can join our spiritual community. And I'm actually like not like disinterested in their spiritual community, if I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm gonna look that up, but I'm just like, really? Could we not just end on like a nice piece of inspiration and not a fucking sales pitch? Really? Really?
I don't know. I'm surprised to hear that from you, Karlyn, being a businesswoman yourself.
Well, I almost never even do pitches at the end of my streams anymore because it's just like, okay, it's over. Bye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, well, because you do like
I do it at the beginning.
20 to 30 minutes at the beginning.
Well, I don't. That's not a sales pitch though. That's waiting for people to join the stream so we can actually do the fucking stream.
Do the thing, yeah.
Because that's what's required is you have to bullshit for like 10 to 15 minutes and people, oh yeah, you're streaming at 5 because they never remember the time I start streaming. So it's like, okay.
Even though it's the same time every day for the last 3 years, people.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You know what? Whatever. I thought that was a good, the back half of it got a little redundant for me. I was kind of like, okay, you guys are saying the same thing over. Okay.
We get it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a good experience, Jennifer. I appreciate you getting us to watch that movie. I would like to watch other stuff from that channel. I thought that guy did a good job.
Yeah, they have a lot of really good things. I never get the lid back on this putty. Why do you vex me so?
Well, it happens.
Just to piss me off. I know.
All right. Are we doing my movie for movie night this week? Finally.
Oh, Karlyn,
we're doing my movie.
Because you have broken
I've demanded it, and I've begged, and I've pleaded, and I said you never give me anything I want, and then I demanded it again, and then I reminded you it's my fucking Discord. And then you were like, maybe we're gonna do a poll. I'm like, no, we're gonna do that fucking movie. Like,
it is your Discord, and I will happily let you host movie night.
We'll do Superman 2. Like, no, we're not gonna do Superman 2.
I wanted to honor parents. You are such a cunt sometimes.
Back to school. Jennifer, here's the deal. Jennifer has not seen the Rodney Dangerfield classic Back to School, and for some reason she's dragging her feet and doesn't want to watch this movie. But I've seen this movie at least 15 times because it's one of those movies that was just on TV all the time, and it's a classic, and you need to see this movie, and it's funny, and it's good.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're gonna love it.
Sure.
You're gonna love some of the scenes in it. I can't give any of it away because it's a spoiler.
Yeah, well, and like I said, I think there's maybe 3 movies a year that I haven't seen in movie night, but I will be seeing the spoilers because I have to do the trivia, so I'll be looking. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of trivia on this or not, but we will be doing Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield in Spin It Up September. After that, I do want to do a tribute to Terrence Stamp. So sorry, I don't know where my brain went just then. So we're going to do Superman 2. And then I have Dark City and Surrogates. Now here's the thing. This is kind of
Dark City. There's no competition. Dark City.
No, I agree, but I'm having a little conflict in my heart with actually like, do I need to do the Terrence Stamp tribute? Because not a lot of people know who he is.
No, you don't need to do the Terrence Stamp tribute.
I would
he was
love
a wonderful actor and a wonderful human being. And
he was fabulous. Yeah.
I mean, he was great. He does not need a tribute movie, Jennifer. He's not famous enough to need a tribute movie. I'm sorry.
Not like Gene Hackman or Val Kilmer.
Yeah, like Val Kilmer in The Doors is a classic movie that everyone needs to see.
I agree. And I am considering moving Superman 2 to next like patriotic July.
I think that's a good idea. It's not that Superman 2 is not I actually do enjoy, like, of all the Superman movies, that's probably the one I like the best, but
it's a really good one. Yeah. Let me just hold on. I'm in my me and my spreadsheet here.
Do you know what movie we need to add to the list at some point? And maybe I can just do this in my birthday movie month. Have you ever seen The Cube?
I love The
Fuck
Cube.
yes. Yes.
And I love the
yes.
Cube movies. All of them
Yes,
are awesome.
All of them. All of
They're
them are
all
good.
good.
All of them are good. I agree. Okay, we need to watch The Cube because
We'll do it in April,
I
yeah.
suspect that there are people in the community who have not seen The Cube and they need to be graced with that blessing because it's a fantastic fucking movie.
It's so good. It's so good. I actually saw 2 good horror films recently. Horror, I think, is making a comeback.
Yes, it is because it's the only genre that has good stories.
I agree. And because people are fearless with it and they just let it freaking do its thing. They'll let it be the genre it needs to be. They don't have to tiptoe around stuff. It's meant to be scary. They can hit taboos. It doesn't matter. It's horror. And so yeah, I watched a couple of really great ones this last week, and I'm happy that that's happening because we've had a bit of a drought with that. But so
I've got to get my horror my T-shirt collection for Halloween into the store.
Oh,
which is always inspired by horror movies. It's like 80s horror movies.
Nice.
Anyway.
I love that. So we will do so back to school. Then we'll do Dark City and Surrogates for Spin It Up September. I have two conspiracy movies back to back. I could have swore you've seen Surrogates, but then like we talked about it another time, and you're like,
I don't think I have, but Dark City is a awesome movie.
So good,
yeah,
so good. I think the Adjustment Bureau was kind of the closest attempt to like recreate that thing, but it wasn't goth at all. But the Adjustment Bureau is good too. We'll throw that in at some point.
That's a great movie. Victor and I, when we first met, we watched the Adjustment Bureau, and that was like the definition of our relationship. Basically, it's the Adjustment Bureau. Because it's like the odds of the two of us ever even meeting. And it's just like these weird circumstances that led to it. Like, and it's just like, it really shouldn't have happened, but it did.
Yeah. It's a crazy, well, when things are meant to be, they will be, period.
True.
So, and Surrogates is a Bruce Willis movie about people who download their consciousnesses into a like fake, like a robot body, essentially, whatever robot body they want. Doesn't have to look like them. Sometimes it does. And they live the world that they plug into a chair and they go out in their robot bodies. And if you kill the robot body, it shouldn't affect the person in the chair. But it starts happening. So he's investigating these murders. And it's really, really good. And I find it interesting because it has to do with, like, in my mind, like the singularity and humans meeting, like becoming a robot. You can be a body that is not you. So it's like, it also speaks to how people invent themselves on the internet, and they're not, you're talking to a cute 20-year-old guy, and it's actually maybe a 60-year-old big lady, and not so it's a good movie. So let's see, Mac B's movie night, getting down to September. All right, so he is doing Vanishing Point this Sunday. I thought you were doing The Stand. Okay, well, hold on. Do we have
next Sunday?
I'm looking at, hold on. Am I in September? Yes. Monday. Okay, so he's doing Vanishing Point. Looks like. I thought he was doing The Stand. Yeah, okay, well, maybe he's going to move that. I don't know how he's going to work it out. But anyway, we've got Vanishing Point coming up this Monday for Mac Daddy's Monday movie night with Mac B. And yes, we will be doing Back to School running.
And it's going to be awesome.
I mean,
Look at this. Hang on. I was just doing one last perusal of James Lindsay's Twitter page before we end for the night. And so I scrolled just a couple posts down on his page, and he's complaining about this white square. But this fucking watch company blocked me a little while ago. And look at the image that they post. They posted my retweet of the white square. Like, where you can, they specifically went to, they have blocked me.
But they're still stalking you.
But they're still stalking me, and went to my page and posted my retweet of the white square. To be clear, this is fake and gay for the same reason it was fake and gay when people posted black squares. It's just gay race communism reverse. And well,
Somebody explain to me the whole
That's
fake and gay thing that's
funny.
happening now. I don't
That's
understand.
Funny.
I'm so confused.
Well, because they're trying to be cool. They're trying to be cool.
They're
is
trying to
what
be
happened.
South Park.
Is like all the
right?
good people were calling it fake and gay, and so now it's like, hello there, fellow kids. Like that's what it is. It's that
I know the
fucking
words
vibe.
you like now.
Oh, Frank did it. Oh, of course Frank did it. Oh, okay. So Frank was tweeting about it. Hang on. We need to get our last dose of internet drama before I let you go.
Okay,
Jennifer.
I'm just gonna argue with
what
this
the
fucking lid.
fuck? What did Frank do? Oh, yep, there it is. Yep, that was Frank. Yep, Frank was stalking me. Please don't do that.
Snip it out. Did he say spiritual liberal shit? Wait. Ask spiritual liberals.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what? Okay, hold on. As
Yeah.
you have been sharing these tweets,
Yeah.
this is why I don't twit. And I thought you were getting off Twitter. But
I have changed the way I interact with Twitter. I never can't get off Twitter. I can't do that, but I can change the way I interact with it so I'm not pissed off all the time.
Good. Okay. So anyway,
Yeah.
what's bothering me here is that all of these twits that you've been sharing with me sound like they have a grab bag of words. And they're just like fake,
Yeah.
gay, spiritual, anarchy, and they're just like it's just like it
Yeah.
It doesn't even make it spiritual. What, dude?
Jennifer, these are the intellectual heavyweights of the internet.
Gay.
Yeah, exactly. This is James Lindsay and his friends, the intellectual, classical, liberal heavyweights
They
of
have
the
to
internet.
walk like this so they can hold up their brain.
Whatever.
Oh my god.
Whatever, man.
Whatever.
All right. Well, I guess that's all we have. It's 12:30 in the morning, so I'm gonna go start work now.
Yeah. I'm gonna do some MK Ultra documentary research, possibly for next week. And like I said, as I find shit, I'll send it your way because I'm actually the reason I'm doing this is a little bit of a brown nosing technique because I'm gonna need you to like take the wheel when I'm traveling. And move it.
That's what's. I knew there was something going on. I knew there was. Jennifer a couple weeks ago was like, Karlyn, I'm just gonna put videos in the chat when I find them, and we don't have to go back and forth. I'm just gonna put stuff in the chat when I find them, and this has been going on for weeks. And I was kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop because Jennifer kept saying she's like, I'm just gonna keep contributing to this, and now the other shoe has dropped, and it's like it's because you want something.
I'm a Capricorn, Karlyn. We always want something.
I was like, this is being front loaded for like this must be some fucking favor. Like
I'm also Italian, so you owe me, you know. I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
Fine. I will take the lead when you guys are it's fine. We're a team, Jennifer. Okay?
Yeah, well, which you would have done anyway. So
Yes.
it's not a trap. You'd have done that anyway. I know it.
It's just you're greasing the wheels so that when you make the ask, I can't say fucking no. Whatever. It's fine. I don't care. Fine.
It's all good.
All right. Well, that's all we have. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight, and I will be back tomorrow at 5, which should be my last. Might be my last stream of the week, Jennifer. Because I'm going on an adventure.
Are you going
to a super secret, undisclosed location to do a super secret, undisclosed thing?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. We'll see how this goes.
Oh man, this is gonna be fun.
So you got to show up for the stream tomorrow at 5 because you guys might never see me again. You don't know what could happen. I don't know. It could be the last.
Don't threaten the kids like that. They don't know how to take it. I'll be there for you.
It'll be fine. You got to do a spell of protection on me or something. Okay, that's what you got to do. I need you to between now and Friday to do a spell of protection on me so no one can.
Is that an official request?
Yes. Actually, like unironically, now that I'm actually saying it out loud, yes, it was just an off the head thought, but yeah, that actually would probably be a good idea. Yes.
All right.
I will compensate you in some way for a spell of protection.
I want you to find an object that feels like safety and protection to you, that feels warm and comfortable, and I want you to always have it with you while you're there, and I'll connect to that.
Okay, I'll do my necklace, my new necklace.
Okay.
Because I wear that all the time when I'm traveling.
Cool. I'll think of it and I will work with it.
Right on. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that.
Of course.
All right, that's all we got. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Have a good one. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.